that Beanie Baby Day in May, when of all things, a slightly disheveled Yankee was perfect. David Wells was a big part of 1998's magic, and his down-to-earth love of being a New York Yankee was one of the things that made him one of the most popular players on the team. As a postseason performer, he never lost, and after helping beat Texas, Cleveland, and San Diego, he received a key to the city on the steps of City Hall. But now he and Roger Clemens have traded places, and for Toronto, he's up to his old tricks with 3 wins and no losses. Tonight, he returns to the stadium he cherishes, and the memories will come roaring back. MSG is the network for New York Yankees baseball, and we welcome you live from the most historic place in sports, Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. The Blue Jays and the Yankees will play through the weekend, and I'm sure you all know who's pitching tonight. David Wells makes his return. He's 3-0 with a 2.55 ERA. The opposition provided by Duque, 2-1 with a 5.12 ERA. It's all going to happen tonight at Yankee Stadium. Shortly after 5 o'clock, huge cheers from the fans who battled the rain for David Wells. So all eyes on him and all ears on how the fans play this one tonight. So far, the Blue Jays are the hottest team in baseball. They've won 8 straight, and they lead the Yankees in the American League East by 2 games. So we've got an early battle for first place here this weekend in the Bronx. Good evening, everybody. I'm Al Troutwig. For a while, we're going to sound like the Weather Channel. We're talking about radar and rain, but the rain has stopped, the tarp is off the field, and preparations are being made to start this game roughly at 7:45. That's what we're being told. So it gives us a little bit more time to discuss the main man tonight, David Wells. He was in a great mood in the Blue Jays locker room, said hello to everybody, and then promptly went over to the stereo and cranked it up to about 8.5 so that no one could hear anybody else talk. But that's David Wells. The numbers he's put up so far, that's David Wells. Now we come to the fans. He gets a huge ovation, I suspect, when he takes the field. And then what happens after that? I can't see Yankee fans cheering when he strikes out Paul O'Neill if that happens. And then maybe the bleacher creatures chant his name. It's all going to be interesting to watch and listen to tonight as David Wells makes his return against the New York Yankees. Let's go upstairs now for some thoughts. I'm going to go on a wild limb here and say they're going to talk about David Wells and Derek Jeter. Jim Cott, Ken Singleton.
That's a pretty good call, Al, but every night seems to be special here at Yankee Stadium, but this one already has been a standout night because when David Wells made the walk to the bullpen, he got a tremendous ovation. He acknowledged the bleacher creatures. And then, of course, Al Duque went out, and he did too. But this night belongs to David Wells. Let's talk about what he's been doing.
Yeah, he's been spectacular this year for the Blue Jays. Right from spring training, pitched very well. But let's go back to May 17th of last year in front of a packed house here at the stadium. Here's the final out. We're going to watch the reaction as Paul O'Neill will make the catch down the right field line, and David Wells is forever etched in Yankee history. Well, this year, same David Wells, maybe a new uniform, almost 11 strikeouts per 9 innings, and same David Wells with the control, only 2 walks per 9 innings.
And you wonder why David Wells loves to pitch in Yankee Stadium, even when he's not a Yankee. In the 2 years here, 34-14, 5 postseason starts. He's a perfect 5-0. And in his career, only David Cone has a higher winning percentage than that. He is 27-7. Well, if David Wells is going to be successful tonight, one guy he's going to have to deal with who is becoming maybe the best all-around player in the American League, Derek Jeter.
Derek Jeter, people talk about his power improvement. Well, I think with Derek Jeter, you have to look at the overall numbers. Everybody's looking at the home runs, but power also includes extra base hits. Derek Jeter is leading the American League with 4 triples. He's currently on a 10-game hitting streak, and the triples represent half as many as he had all last season. Of course, the home runs. He's got 5 so far. This is Wednesday night against the Texas Rangers. Turned out to be a game-winning home run in the 5th inning, his 5th home run of the year.
He is at or near the top in 11 offensive categories, and there's the one he leads at. Batting average, slugging percentage, total bases, runs. I think what's really impressive, he has drawn 11 walks, and he's only struck out 5 times. Big area of improvement for Derek Jeter. We've talked about David Wells. It's his night. You know what we forgot about? Orlando El Duque Hernandez. He has won his last 8 starts at the stadium. Should be quite a night. We'll have it for you on MSG when we come back.
That was Mike Breen, who, by the way, is calling the Knicks game on Fox Sports Net New York, if you had trouble finding it. Welcome home, Boomer. The banner hangs from the upper deck. It was a warm welcome home. Let's listen to the fans as they salute David on his way to the bullpen to warm up. Now back live, that smile's genuine. He is thrilled. He was bubbling in the clubhouse before the game. In fact, Jim Fregosi, after he arrived, closed the clubhouse doors, said there was a team meeting, but that was for a long time, and the general feeling was that he wanted to give David Wells some uninterrupted time to settle in, get ready, and focus on this game, and you know he is definitely focused on this game. Now, the fact in the Sunday game is that David Wells is also going to be here for a day I know he's going to cherish, and that's Joe DiMaggio Day. And we'll have it for you here on MSG. The festivities begin at 1 o'clock as they dedicate the 5th monument in Monument Park. The other ones coming to Miller Huggins, Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, Mickey Mantle, and now the Yankee Clipper, Joe DiMaggio. Ceremonies start at 1 o'clock. Stadium ticket windows have tickets. Tickets are available through Ticketmaster at 212-307-1212 and on the World Wide Web, Yankees.com. Whitey Ford will be here. Phil Rizzuto will be here. Hank Bauer will be here. And Paul Simon will sing Where Have You Gone, Joe DiMaggio. Now the plaque has been attached to the Balmoral Granite Monument, which I'm told, just like the plaque on the back wall, is going to be just a little bit higher than all the other monuments. That was the idea of Mickey Mantle when Joe D's plaque was dedicated in, Mickey Mantle's plaque was dedicated in 1969. Another ex-Yankee taking it all in out there, Graham Lloyd. His ERA .90 on the season, so he's been very, very good in the spots where Jim Fregosi called on him. And Homer Bush was doing a great job until he injured his finger. A little hug out there for an ex-mate. Seems as though everybody's happy in their new surroundings, at least performing successfully on the field. So David Wells makes a triumphant return home to Yankee Stadium tonight. And you look back in history to compare some of the other well-known Yankees who have come back, and we can tell you how they did. For example, Ralph Terry won the clincher for the Yankees in the 1962 World Series. He came back with the Cleveland Indians in 1965, no decision. Tommy John came back to Yankee Stadium with the Angels in 1983 and lost, and actually would rejoin the Yankees for a second stint from 1986 to 1989. Jim Abbott and Dave Vergetti both returned to Yankee Stadium as members of the White Sox in 1995. And in a strange coincidence, the two no-hit pitchers both defeated the Yankees in a twin bill at the stadium on July 18th. Jimmy Key also won his return to Yankee Stadium with the Baltimore Orioles in 1997. So David Wells gets set to face the New York Yankees tonight. They fully expect a rousing ovation. And then after that, we'll have to wait and see how the Yankee fans handle the most popular Yankee to many of a season ago. This is MSG. Williams went in there. It seemed as though the Yankees were very, very keyed up and enthusiastic to play this game tonight. Of course, David Wells is a big part of that. And Paul O'Neill did not want to let a minute slip by without making sure his stroke was ready for this one. Bernie Williams all set to go. One more time, let's check out the New York Marriott Marquee matchup. David Wells and El Duque, Orlando Hernandez. David Wells has had 3 solid starts. El Duque had 2, and then a little bit of a hiccup in Detroit, but he's won his last 8 starts at Yankee Stadium with a sparkling 1.39 ERA. And we all know of David Wells' success here in the Bronx. 9-1 with a 2.84 ERA. Overall, 18-6 here at Yankee Stadium. So Wells will face the Yankees in the bottom half of the first inning, obviously, so he'll get a few more tosses in the bullpen. Got to seem a little weird for him to be on the other side of the fence. Of course, before his time with New York, he was used to it, but then he seemed and thought that he would be a Yankee for a long, long time for all the great feelings he had about being with the New York Yankees. Check out the American Express quote book. George wanted Clemens so bad he had to give up 3 players to get him. Toronto made a great deal. I think he made a hell of a mistake. Well, we'll see. Time will tell on this one. So far, David Wells is putting up the numbers. Clemens still finding his stuff, winning his last start as the Yankees swept the Texas Rangers on Wednesday night. So it's the Yankees who've won 2 in a row. It's the Blue Jays who've won 8 in a row, battling for first place, starring David Wells. Back in a moment. Yankee Stadium, the fans who've made it through the rain wanted to see David Wells, and they're letting him hear it. A standing ovation here at Yankee Stadium, and from the scoreboard they blare Trevor Hoffman's trademark song, Hell's Bells. And you know David Wells loves to rock to that beat. So he's going to be all juiced up. It's going to be interesting to see how he controls his adrenaline. And meanwhile, on the flip side, you've got El Duque, who gets ruffled by nothing. Orlando Hernandez to pitch for the Yankees, who now take the field. Good job by the grounds crew to get this thing started just as the way they said. So it looks like a roughly 7:50 start. Out goes El Duque. And it'll be the Yankees trying to grab first place from the Toronto Blue Jays tonight. Let's go listen to the great voice of Bob Shepard. And Bob Shepard, the two legendary voices and organists here at Yankee Stadium. El Duque set to go. It's going to be chilly and a little breezy tonight. To call the game, let's go upstairs. Jim Cott and Ken Singleton. Guys?
Thanks a lot, Al. There is no place like it. And when Eddie Layton and Bob Shepard that you referred to, when they set the stage, even the 15th game of the regular season will give you the idea. It is a big event. Electricity in the crowd tonight because of David Wells, his return to Yankee Stadium, and El Duque lurking to win his 9th straight decision here at the stadium. Here's that powerful Toronto Blue Jay lineup. Never thought you'd say that. They've always had good pitching, but they start with Shannon Stewart, Jose Cruz Jr., and Sean Green. Then their leader, Carlos Delgado, Tony Fernandez having a great year, Willie Green, Darren Fletcher, Alex Gonzalez, and the ex-Yankee Pat Kelly had a multiple home run game 2 days ago.
Here's our New York Life Yankee defensive lineup in the field. Around the infield from left to right, it's going to be Soho, Jeter, Knobloch, and Martinez. In the outfield, Curtis, Williams, and O'Neill. Jorge Posada will do the catching for Orlando Hernandez. You're looking at Chad Curtis out in left field in that revolving door of outfielders. Nobody has really come on strong and taken over the job on what seems to be just about an everyday basis. Chad Curtis hit a couple of home runs. They came out on the West Coast against the Oakland A's in the opening series of the season, but not much since then. He's hitting just over 200.
A logical choice for Don Zimmer with the left-hander David Wells going, and Chad Curtis has done reasonably well against Wells, so he'll get the start tonight. A 7:51 start for El Duque. We mentioned the inclement weather, but it's rain has stopped. It is rather cool. You see El Duque's numbers. The hiccup that he had in Detroit, better than a strikeout an inning, and you see him blowing on his hand. I think tonight's weather will affect him a little more than David Wells. Wells is a fastball pitcher, throws that little cutter, but El Duque wants to get the touch and feel of that curveball, and that could be a little tougher on a cool night like tonight.
Yeah, I bet he's wondering, when's the weather going to warm up? As we look at the two managers, Jim Fregosi, who took over the Blue Jays in spring training, of course, Don Zimmer, who's the interim manager for the Yankees until Joe Torre comes back from prostate cancer surgery. And Joe, we saw Joe last night. He's looking very fit, and it shouldn't be too long.
Jim Fregosi, those of you not familiar with the story, actually interviewed for the job a couple of years ago, but replaced Tim Johnson about halfway through spring training, and he is the perfect fit for this ball club. He's a veteran, knows how to handle veteran players as well as young players. Speedy Shannon Stewart will lead it off for the Blue Jays. Swings through the first pitch, strike one. If there is a downside to this Toronto batting order, and they're tops in the league in home runs, as Al Troutwig pointed out, they do strike out a great deal. They led the American League in striking out last year, and this year they are 12th in strikeouts. 0-2.
Well, the other night when Texas was in here and Tom Goodwin was leading off for the Rangers, I said he might be the fastest player in this league. And the reason I said might is because Shannon Stewart might be the fastest runner in this league. A couple of years ago, he led the league in triples, and he didn't come up until halfway through the season.
And he already has 7 stolen bases this year. Off the corner, 1-2. Al Trautwig mentioned on the Marriott Marquis Scorecard show as Jose Cruz Jr. waits on deck. These Blue Jays have won 8 straight, and they come into this series with a record of 12-4 on top of the American League East. Off the corner, and it's 2-2. You notice Orlando Hernandez, he'll keep that hand right up to his mouth till the very last possible moment, because you, as a pitcher, you want to feel a little warmth, a little moisture, so that when you go to the seams, there's almost a little tackiness to it, so the ball doesn't slip out of your hand. 2-2 as that's fouled off.
Let's check out the scouting report on El Duque. Sneaky fast. You see them pop that fastball upstairs every once in a while. Of course, that deceptive delivery and curve will set up more curves.
Yeah, he takes 2 pitches and turns it into about 5 or 6 just with his arm angle and the change of speeds. Stewart again fouls off the high fastball and stays alive.
That was that sneaky fastball we're talking about. He tries to pass hitters upstairs after throwing the breaking ball down. So a change of plane. Get the hitters thinking about swinging downstairs. All of a sudden they got to climb the stairs and go up, and they can't get there in time.
47 degrees is the temperature at game time. Got him. As Kenny said, he changed the plane. He went upstairs, then came down about bell tide, blew the fastball by him.
See Jorge Posada shift to the outside. And I'll tell you what, he didn't have to move the glove very much at all. Right to the glove for strike 3.
Stewart down on strikes, and that'll bring up the talented Jose Cruz Jr. And the number that jumps out is not on that line. 2 home runs and 6 RBIs. He is leading the lead in walks by a wide margin, 21. That's in for a strike. So he obviously has become a much more disciplined hitter than he was last year.
Well, Gary Matthews is the hitting coach for the Toronto Blue Jays, and I think some of his thoughts are starting to rub off on these young hitters. The Blue Jays, their outfield of Green, Cruz, and Stewart, none of them are older than 26 years old. So Blue Jays are going to have a strong outfield if they can keep it together.
Ball and a strike to Cruz. The corner 1-2. Of course, Jose Jr., the son of the outstanding former outfielder with the Houston Astros, currently a coach with them, and came out of Rice University. He is pumped. David Wells waiting to take the mound. Fans have acknowledged David Wells. Now they're into pulling for their home team with 2 strikes on Cruz. Backdoor curveball misses. 2-2. Sean Green, who last year began to show and realize really the potential that he's had as a hitter. 35 home runs. Tapped out toward first base on the changeup. Flips to Hernandez in time. Does Tino Martinez. 2-away here in the Blue Jay first.
You know, you watch El Duque play his position, and when you get a ground ball to first baseman looks up, he's already there. You know.
Let's check out our umpire alignment tonight, brought to you by National Arbitration and Mediation by NAM, the most timely, cost-effective way to settle your legal disputes. Tim Welke, I would say he's a pitcher's friend behind the plate, and then the veteran Richie Garcia, Mike Riley, and Mark Johnson. Good crew. Here's Sean Green. Curveball, first pitch swinging, and Orlando Hernandez will have a very efficient first inning. He sets the Blue Jays down in order, and David Wells will take the mound to face his former teammates. He should get some ovation when he steps out of that dugout back on MSG after this. Here's the crowd reaction. And in the background, you could hear John Sterling's call, which was a very nice touch by the Yankees to play the last out of David Wells' perfect game as he took the mound. One thing, Kenny, we can look for early. I mean, if you look closely at that uniform shirt, that heart is going to be pumping right out of that uniform. Check his control early on as he faces this lineup. Chuck Knobloch, and in the hot-hitting Derek Jeter, Paul O'Neill third, Bernie Williams, Chili Davis the DH, Tino Martinez bats sixth, Chad Curtis, Jorge Posada, and Luis Sojo the bottom third. The thing to watch for when you're pumped up like David Wells is the control of that fastball. And if you're over pumped, a lot of them are going to be high and away till you kind of get your bearings and settle in and relax. And a tough leadoff hitter to face for him, Chuck Knobloch. Along with Jeter as a tandem, they have scored 31 runs between them. High and away, ball one.
As we watch David Wells work here, I think it'd be interesting for the fans to watch the catcher, his receiver tonight, Darren Fletcher, who's an excellent receiver. Very quiet behind home plate, really moves his elbow rather than moving his wrist in receiving the ball. And what it does around the corners, you get more strikes called that way.
See, already 2 fastballs up and away. The best thing you can do as a pitcher if you're in Wells' situation right now is think about throwing a ground ball, because you're so pumped up you want to throw that ball about 110 miles an hour. He threw a line drive, and Knobloch. There will be no perfect game for Boomer tonight as Knobloch leads off the Yankee first with a line single.
Well, Knobloch had the perfect hitter's count. 2 balls and no strikes. He looked for a fastball, and he got a base hit. Defense behind David Wells tonight. A New York Life lineup for the Blue Jays. In the infield, Fernandez, Gonzalez, Kelly, and Delgado. In the outfield, Stewart, Cruz, and Green. We mentioned Darren Fletcher behind the plate for David Wells. Pat Kelly, who was with the St. Louis Cardinals during spring training, was released and signed with the Blue Jays, doing a good job coming on since Homer Bush, another former Yankee, was injured and is on the disabled list. Jim Fregosi told me that Homer Bush might be out another 10 days, 2 weeks.
Pat Kelly with already 3 home runs. Jeter steps in. First pitch swinging. And the Yankees, from playing behind David Wells last year, know they're going to get a lot of first pitch fastballs. You see Jeter's league-leading batting average and team-leading 5 home runs.
Well, we talked about the homers. He hit 19 last year, so he's off to a great start. Hit 8 triples last year, has 4 already. So power numbers aren't only reflected in the number of home runs you hit, it's the number of extra base hits you get.
Off-speed pitch. The inside, 1-1. Derek has picked up his production in those categories you're talking about. Doubles and triples. He and Sean Green are first and second in the league in total bases when you add up all the singles, doubles, triples, and home runs. On the run. Knobloch will steal it easily.
Well, Chuck went on the first move of David Wells, and I think one thing you'll see with the Yankees, they played 3 series now. The last series they had to deal with Pudge Rodriguez. In the earlier series they had to deal with Charles Johnson of the Orioles. So they were kind of shut down by 2 rocket arm catchers. Darren Fletcher only threw out 23%. So you might see the former Expo have problems throwing out some Yankees tonight.
On the run toward third. He got him. Knobloch did not get a good jump. Wow. Don't like that play with nobody out. Neither does Don Zimmer. I mean, with nobody out and Wells in a bit of trouble, why would you try to steal third base then?
Well, Darren Fletcher had time. As you mentioned, Knobloch did not get the jump that he did off first, trying to steal third from second. And there's the tag as the ball is waiting on it.
Never make the first or the last out at third base. You're taught that as a ball player. You can advance there with 1 out, but no need to do that. Just an aggressive mistake by Knobloch, and the count full now to Jeter.
Yeah, I think what it goes with is the scouting report that Darren Fletcher's not going to throw many people out. He's had problems throughout his career because he just doesn't have a strong arm. Good hitting catcher, good receiver, but he just doesn't throw people out.
About a hit per inning and more than a strikeout an inning for Wells. Just missed the inside corner. Took a long look at Tim Welke, and Welke said, no, it just missed, and Derek Jeter draws his 12th walk.
Well, that's what we heard Don Zimmer talk about, the fact that Jeter's not chasing the close pitches, the ones that he might have swung at in the past, and built his strikeout total up over 100. You see the reaction of David Wells, and he knows he has another speedy Yankee on base.
Yeah, unusual to see Tim Welke call that ball 4, because Tim is one of the umpires. If it's one of those that could be a strike or a ball, he usually will favor the pitcher. Here's O'Neill. His 15 RBIs, the most by any number 3 hitter in the league, and first pitch swinging, strike 1.
O'Neill has kind of struggled against Wells in the past. As you might expect, a left-hander with good control of all his pitches, kind of keeping Paul O'Neill off balance. But to me, it hasn't been an overpowering or dominance by David Wells against Paul O'Neill. And the reason why I mention that, O'Neill is about 1 for 14 lifetime, but he has only struck out 1 time. So it's not as like the left-hander struck him out 6 or 7 times and really just put him away.
He's putting the ball in play. You saw the graphic reflecting Wells' success against O'Neill. Cutter, outside corner. That's a pitch that Wells added last year, and it's getting better and better every start for him.
You see the reception by Fletcher, just holding the glove out, not moving the arm too much, hoping to get the call on the corner, and he did.
Mel Stottlemyre analyzing and watching the moves of a pitcher he had a good influence on last year. Jeter with a modest lead, with Knobloch getting thrown out at third base. That is the first base stealer that the Blue Jays have thrown out with David Wells on the mound. Base stealers were 9 for 9 against him until Knobloch was caught at third. Could be 2 to Gonzalez. And David Wells, after a line drive single, a base running gaff by Chuck Knobloch, a walk, escapes. We head to the top of the second at the stadium. No score. Baseball is brought to you by MCS Cannon, keeping people in business in business. Well, I think what kept David Wells in business that inning, that attempted steal at third base by Knobloch, did more to relax him than anything and get him back on track. Orlando Hernandez had a very effective first inning. And here we go to the top of the second with Carlos Delgado, who has really become the leader of this Blue Jay ball club, as well as their most productive hitter. Low ball 1.
About this time last year, Delgado was on the disabled list with a bad shoulder. Missed about 20 games, still finished with 38 home runs and 115 runs batted in. Very productive number 4 hitter.
Good curveball, no trouble gripping that one. 1-1. Came up as a catcher, Delgado did. And the Blue Jays actually tried him in left field for a while. Good fastball, but off the corner. 2-1.
Has what you like to call explosive power.
Ex-Yankee Tony Fernandez with the batting average at .396 waits on deck. Foul straight back, 2-2. Good up and in fastball from El Duque, and that's fouled straight back, still 2-2.
You know, Kenny, we've heard you talk about left-handed hitters lacking the ball low and in. I think that about right there, you want to keep it away from that area with Carlos Delgado.
Ooh, backdoor breaking ball there, hung just a bit high.
That low and in fastball or slider that kind of hangs in that area. This one's away. Those are the ones he runs about 450 feet.
Made him reach. Stays alive, still 3-2. The two areas a pitcher wants command of is low and away and up and in. As Kurt Simmons, veteran left-hand pitcher, years ago said, if their arms were attached to their knees, then you pitch them up and away. But since they're on their shoulders, you pitch them down and away. Good pitch there. Tail back across the inside corner. Bell-tie fastball right where Posada wanted it.
You know, this is kind of low and in. Like I said, you don't want to throw it to, but they only threw one pitch in that area, and it came on 3-2. And as Kitty said, it tails back over the corner for the call strike.
Yeah, that's in enough. Low and in on the inside third is a danger zone. That's how Orlando Hernandez has improved in getting left-hand hitters. That was a big question mark when he came up with that three-quarter sidearm delivery. Can he handle lefties? That graphic tells you he can. Tony Fernandez, ball one.
And I think how he's done it, Kitty, he's adjusted by throwing the slow stuff away, as we saw the Delgado. Then all of a sudden, that sneaky fastball inside. He's getting more lefties to take that pitch.
Popped up on the infield, playable. Soho at third. He'll put it away. A little adventurous with the swirling winds here at the stadium. 2 down in the Blue Jays second. The mysterious Willie Green. I say mysterious because here's a guy a couple of years ago with Cincinnati. It looked like he was on his way to really having quite a career. 25 home runs, almost knocked in 100. Good curveball in for a strike, but not a good position player. Fits in perfectly as a DH, and he does have a couple of home runs for the Blue Jays.
The Blue Jays originally wanted him to be a role player. Sit on the bench and come off the bench. But DH has been a problem for the Blue Jays since they've traded let Jose Canseco go. Canseco's contract demands were too rich for the blood of Gord Ash, the general manager of the Blue Jays.
Made him reach on the 0-2 pitch and fouls it over the Blue Jay dugout. Let's check out the motion of Orlando Hernandez. There's that patented high leg kick where he can really hide the ball. I love that shot because that shows you sort of the whip action, the way a pitcher's arm is bending back, and you'll see him land on the ball of his foot with all of his momentum going toward the hitter. Left field playable. Curtis. And a 1-2-3 inning for El Duque. Early signs tell us that this could be the matchup we anticipated. Wells and Hernandez. No score. We head to the second. Welcome back to the stadium. David Wells set to face the Yankees in the bottom of the second inning. Gives us a chance to check out our upcoming Delta Airlines schedule. Tomorrow 1:30 start. Fox 5 will have it for you. Big day on Sunday. Joe DiMaggio Day. Ceremonies start at 1. The game about 2:15. And the Yankees head out on the road. 3-gamer in Texas. We'll have all of them for you right here on MSG. Roger Clemens and Rick Helling, the pitchers in game 1 of that series. Bernie digs in with the average at 327. He has only had 10 at-bats from the right side of the plate this year. And his average at 300 in those 10 at-bats. First pitch swinging. Kelly, range, flipped to Delgado. Nice play. You can see the Yankees going after that first pitch fastball. 1 pitch, 1 out.
Well, I think they know Boomer's MO. He's coming right at you. He's not going to fool around.
Here it is. Hit it if you can. Which in the past 2 years, that philosophy has earned him a 34-14 record. Chili Davis off to a great start. 4 home runs and 11 RBIs. Steps in. He gets the curveball, and that's in for a strike.
Chili Davis' biggest year as far as runs batted in was 1993 with the then California Angels when he drove in 112 runs. It's the only time in his career he's driven in more than 100, but he's driven in 90 or more 4 other times. So he's been a very, very productive hitter. And as far as active players, he is 3rd in that category. Runs batted in behind Cal Ripken and Harold Baines.
And Wells and Fletcher respect his ability to hit a fastball from the right side of the plate because he has seen a curve and a changeup, and it's 0-2. Little extra on that one.
Well, getting the curveball and the changeup, you know how players nowadays go over the video. And Chile hit his last home run against the Rangers, and he hit a first pitch fastball the other night for a home run.
From Rick Helling.
So sometimes they go over there, we'll just change it up a little bit, see how he looks, start him off with a curveball.
Challenges him again. And Davis fouls it out of play. We showed you El Duque's motion. Let's check out the motion of David Wells. Again, you'll see how pitchers use that backside. They turn that hip to the hitter, hide the ball, and then there's that little whip action in David Wells' arm, and certainly gets out over his front leg, and perfect follow through. So both pitchers with excellent mechanics in their pitching motion. Curveball low, 1-2.
You watch both of these guys and their motions and how high they kick that front leg when they come around and bend it. You know, try doing that at home, you know, for what, 100 times tonight.
Yeah, 30 years ago maybe. I don't think I'll try it anymore. Got him with the breaking ball. David Wells, we mentioned he has improved his slider or his cutter, and he's always had a good overhand hook.
You know, the way Chili Davis approached this at bat is almost as if he was looking for the fastball. One of his best swings was on the inside fastball that he fouled back. All the other off-speed pitches he either took or swung through for strikeout. Here's a scouting report on David Wells. Here it comes. Hit it. Excellent control. And as Kitty said, all of the pitches.
Yeah, let's see if he pulls out one of the new pitches he's added this year. He's tried to get a two-seam fastball to run in on the hands of left-hand hitters. That's a cutter that misses. And with Tino Martinez and Paul O'Neill in the lineup, they would be the candidates to see that.
Tino had a 7-game hitting streak broken the other night, but it was only in the 7th game of the streak that he had a multiple hit game, so it wasn't as if he was really on fire. But, you know, sticking a hit in here or there so he doesn't really fall off the edge, but, you know, certainly not hitting the way he would want.
On the corner, 1-1. Boy, both pitchers in these conditions, 47 degrees, have shown excellent control with all of their pitches. Kelvin Escobar will pitch on Sunday afternoon. He's doing the charting. Another one hits the target, 1-2. Roy Halladay, one of their great young pitchers, along with Chris Carpenter, will start tomorrow afternoon's game against Andy Pettit.
Blue Jays not only have a young outfield, they have some youngsters out in that bullpen.
Just missed, 2-2.
And in the rotation who can bring some fire.
Well, we'll probably get a look at some of those youngsters out in the bullpen to go along with veteran Graham Lloyd, the ex-Yankee, who has pitched so well. You have Tom Davey and Peter Monroe, a native New Yorker. Off-speed pitch. It's fouled at the plate, still 2-2.
And there is Andy Pettit, who had that fine start in Detroit, got a no decision. He'll be pitching tomorrow against Ray Halladay.
And David Cone on Sunday. Fouled out of play. Tino Martinez stays alive. There are the principals involved in the blockbuster trade this spring that shocked everyone. And as we mentioned earlier, it's unfortunate we won't get a chance to see Homer Bush. Homer's still on the disabled list with the finger injury. Good swing there by Tino Martinez, and the count holds at 2-2.
Yeah, but Homer did have some good news recently. He and his wife Monica had a lovely baby girl. So congratulations to Homer, and first child for them, and I'm certain that they're both very, very happy, even though Daddy's on the DL.
That's why Homer's not here. He got a chance to go home and see his newborn. Good battle here between Tino Martinez and David Wells. Tino making him work. Count still 2-2. Ninth pitch of the at-bat. That's one of those subtle things that this Yankee lineup does. They will, you don't see him make a lot of easy outs. Bernie Williams did this inning. In fact, he has looked at fewer pitches than any hitter in the league. He will go at it early in the count, but guys like Tino Martinez and Paul O'Neill will run you deep in the count often. Again, still 2-2. Curtis waits on deck.
You watch a lot of hitters when they take their practice swings. It's almost like a chopping move. And it's the quickness of the front arm through the zone, and then the trail arm kind of guides the bat to the ball. It's not how hard you swing it, it's how quick you swing it.
Boy, and Wells is saying, as you said in the scouting report, here it is, hit it. And a little smile of respect by Tino Martinez. The 11th pitch of the at-bat coming up, and Boomer said, yeah, I saw a lot of that last year when he was on my side. Looks like they're going to switch the sign. Looked like a, looked like going to the breaking ball. Ooh, Laredo. And he still fouled that off. He's pulling out all the tricks.
Did he give a quick glance to the Yankee dugout after that one? Now watch this. He will drop down. Tino still fights it off. Yeah. Think of something else.
That would go to 13. In the first inning, David Wells threw 12 pitches in the entire inning. He's sneaking up on 13 in this at-bat. And both his ex-teammates and David Wells. I think now that that first inning is over with, they are the competition, the competitiveness is there, but it's an enjoyable battle.
Tino's got a little smile too.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they're both doing business up here though.
Got him. Stayed with it. Great battle. Wells won it. Yankees go in order. We've played two. We're scoreless at the stadium. Back on MSG after this. New York Yankee baseball brought to you in part by American Express. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, American Express helps you do more. And by Toyota. Every day.
Hello, Duque. Nothing ball game, top of the third. He and David Wells locked up in a duel thus far. First man he'll face will be Darren Fletcher. I mentioned he was a former Expo. He's the 29th player to play for both the Expos and the Blue Jays. Yeah, he takes a pitch outside for ball one. Fletcher, during his heyday back at the University of Illinois back in 1987, finished third in the nation in hitting. Two hitters ahead of him, Mo Vaughn and Robin Ventura.
Wow.
This little curveball is in there for a called strike.
Well, your son, Justin, plays college baseball down in Clemson, which is kind of known for baseball, but the University of Illinois is not, and the Blue Jays actually have two players on their roster that are from the Fighting Illini. In fact, Darren Fletcher was the man when Mark D'Alessandro, he's a backup catcher and utility player, also on the Blue Jays roster out of the University of Illinois.
There's two balls in his strike. Well, while Fletcher was there in '87, he was a Big Ten Player of the Year. Now I don't know if that applies to D'Alessandro.
No, Mark said, he said, man, Fletcher was the man.
Good fastball hitter, but he pops this one up to the left side. Jeter going back into short left field. Looks like he has the play. Yankee shortstop has it, and there's one out. Well, Darren Fletcher back to the dugout. And that'll bring up the young shortstop, Alex Gonzalez, to face El Duque. And Gonzalez got off to a great start this year. His average is at 302, which if it's there at the end of the year, everybody will be happy. But right now, he's 3 for his last 27. You talk about the Nomar Garcia-Parras and the Alex Rodriguez and Derek Jeter. Then you have the shortstops maybe just a little bit lower on the ledge. And I think you go with Alex Gonzalez in that group. Hits this one well to center field. It's going to chase Bernie Williams back, and there's 2 down. And Bernie puts it away.
Yeah, that's a good assessment. He's good in the field. He's never going to hit with Jeter and Garcia-Parra and Alex Rodriguez. Here's a little look at the overhead motion. You'll see it where pitchers try to step straight toward the target. See that toe pointing right there? The guys that have control problems, that front foot sometimes is sticking over that way, but that is just an excellent motion. And both Wells and El Duque very sharp here in the first third of this one.
Former Yankee Pat Kelly batting 9th in the order. Won't chase the slider, and it's ball 1. Homer Bush on the DL with a dislocated finger. Hurt his finger sliding head first into second base at Camden Yards. And Blue Jays called up Pat Kelly, who was thinking about moving to his wife's native Australia. They were just about packed up and ready to go. The phone rings. So sure, why not?
What a country.
Yep. Pitch is fouled back out of play.
Jim Fergosi, the manager, was kidding before the game that Pat Kelly might be his cleanup hitter because he's been such a big part of this. 444 during the streak, a couple of home runs. He said, man, this guy's carrying our ball club.
Slider called, strike 3. Kind of a delayed call by Tim Welke, but the job is done for El Duque. Here in the third inning, his 3rd strikeout of the game. We've played 2.5. No score here at the stadium. As we head to the Yankee half of the 3rd inning, let's head back to Wednesday night for a second. This is our Corona Extra Effort Award, and it's Roger Clemens getting a call strike 3 on Mark McLemore in the 7th inning with a runner at second base in a tight ball game. Here's our Corona Extra Effort Award, and it goes to the Rocket.
Yeah, that strikeout enabled him to win his 17th consecutive decision. Ties an American League record. He'll try to break it Tuesday night in Texas.
Chad Curtis gets the start in left field tonight. The 2 home runs came out on the West Coast, and the Yankees opened up the season against the Oakland A's. Bottom third of the Yankee order to face the Boomer. There's that patented first pitch fastball strike over the outside corner for strike 1. Pretty good numbers. A home run, a couple of doubles, a triple, 4 extra base hits in those 6 hits. Little number. That's at the home plate area, and it's foul. The count goes to 0-2.
If you look inside those numbers, Kenny, sometimes they're coincidence, but other times you can make a case for why Curtis has success against Wells. Chad Curtis, good high fastball hitter. David Wells, a high fastball pitcher.
Right now, Wells has Curtis in the hole. No balls at 2 strikes. Tries the curve, it misses, and the count goes to a ball and 2 strikes.
He thought he might have had this, and again, we've seen this consistently all year. There's the curveball. It looks like it's going to be about shoulder high and comes in a bit low, but the strike zone has been very, very consistently tight from side to side this year.
Ooh, fastball way up and away. The count levels off at 2-2.
And I say tight, not unfairly tight. I mean, last year we saw a lot of pitches well off the corners being called strikes. That isn't good. That isn't happening so far this year.
Posada on deck as Curtis awaits the 2-2 pitch from David Wells. Once again, looked like a changeup there, and the count has gone full at 3-2. Curtis made 121 starts for the Yankees last year. He took over in center field when Bernie Williams went on the disabled list, and when Bernie came back, Chad shifted over to left field, and they particularly here at Yankee Stadium, when you have to cover a lot of ground in those two positions. Those guys are about as good as there are in the league at doing so. Here's the payoff pitch. Swung on and fouled off. We'll do it again. Here's a biography on the Blue Jays. David Wells, 6'4", 225, 35 years old. Pretty good career record of 127 and 89. ERA under 4.
When did they compile that bio to list the weight at 225? It might need to be updated.
Well, a rare walk from David Wells. He averages just 2 per 9 innings. And he's walked 2 in tonight's game already. And it's a leadoff walk with Jorge Posada coming to the plate. Posada trying to get it going here. It's 2 for 23. And both of those hits have come batting right-handed.
Well, in a game where it looks like the pitchers are going to have their way, David Wells rather easy to steal against. We pointed that out earlier. And Chad Curtis has the speed to try to steal it.
Stepped off a sizable lead over there at first. Let's see if he draws a throw. He does. That was a courtesy move from David Wells. Just to one of those, I know you're over there.
David doesn't have an exceptional move, so as a base stealer, if you're Chad Curtis, you put a bit of guesswork into it, and as soon as he lifts that front leg, as soon as he lifts this leg, if it's going toward home, you just take off.
Slide step delivery, and that's in for a strike. And slide step is when you don't lift that leg very high and then deliver the ball. You just kind of slide that foot forward and deliver it to home plate, trying to cut down on the amount of time it takes you to get the ball from the mound to the catcher. Little different move that time. Kick the leg up high, fake going to first.
But by doing that, he lost sight of the target, and the pitch was high. See, he's going to take a glance at Curtis to bluff him back. You see him look there, look at it, but now he doesn't have his eyes on the target, and the pitch is high.
And the count is leveled off at 1-1 on Posada. Chop towards the right side. Going to be a tough play. Delgado looks, throws back towards Wells. He can't find the bag, and everybody's going to be safe. And that will go as an infield single for Jorge Posada. And when you're 2 for 23, you'll take anything.
Well, slow footwork on the part of both Wells and Delgado. You see David now, he's going to take a little time, and Delgado gets over there rather slowly, doesn't plant his foot, throws it off balance. He played that rather nonchalantly. He had to get to that ball much quicker. There you see Wells says, I've got to hustle over there. Delgado takes about 4 steps before he actually turns to throw the ball.
Well, now with Luis Sojo coming to the plate, the Blue Jays will be expecting the bunt. You can see Delgado almost in on the grass. And the infield certainly expecting the bunt. Louis takes the first pitch in there for a strike.
Wow. I think the reason Don Zimmer didn't put the bunt sign on the first pitch is that Wells a fastball pitcher, and he's probably saying, I'll give you one swing at it. Now, since he didn't offer at the first pitch, you may see the bunt sign put on.
And the breaking ball is down low, and the count is 1-1. Just saw a quick shot of Jim Fregosi, the Blue Jays manager, and we go back to years ago when the then California Los Angeles Angels came into being. He was their star shortstop. 2 on, nobody out for the Yankees here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Sojo squares the bunt and fouls it at the home plate area, and the count goes to 1-2. That looked to be a pretty good pitch to bunt.
Yeah, he's usually very dependable. Sojo, the bat is in good position. You see the barrel well up above the hands, and he just missed it. He was in perfect position to drop it down.
Now the count has moved to a ball and 2 strikes. Tony Fernandez, the third baseman, drops back even with the bag at third. Blue Jays thinking maybe the bunt will be taken off here. Soho now having 2 strikes on him. Fastball, bouncing ball towards the middle. Gonzalez has it, flips to Kelly for 1 on the first, and there's a double play. Neatly turned by the Blue Jays on a difficult ball behind the bag. And instead of having runners on second and third and 1 out, the Yankees now have a runner on third and 2 outs.
Boy, that's a nifty play. A little courage and a little confidence. The courage for Pat Kelly with his back to the runner to hang in there, and the confidence that when he turns, he's going to flip it right to Delgado. The only chance he had to turn to was to do it barehanded, and Posada late with the takeout slide.
Well, that's the second double play the Blue Jays have turned behind David Wells in this game. They had a 1-6-3 double play started by Wells in the first inning to end that inning as Knobloch steps in. And Chuck swings at the first pitch and fouls it back. 2 hits in this game. Knobloch has 1 of them. Singled on a 2-0 pitch in the first inning, sold second, but then was thrown out attempting to steal third. Curtis down the line at third with 2 outs. Knobloch swings. This is down the line, but it's going to be foul. A loud strike. 0-2.
A lot of fans saying, can the Yankees do what they did last year in terms of wins? Chances are not, just about impossible. But tonight's game, an example of little mistakes that they did not make last year. Knobloch trying to steal third with nobody out. Soho was a good bunter, failed to get the bunt down and advance the runners.
Or maybe if Knobloch would have attempted to steal third, he would have made it last year.
Yeah, maybe if they'd have thrown it into left field or something.
Right now, Knobloch in the hole, 0-2 with Curtis at third. No score in the game. Knobloch pops it up, middle of the infield. There's a Blue Jay convention, and it's going to be Kelly who makes the catch. Yankees are retired. They leave a runner at third. We played 3 full innings of play here at the stadium. It's 0-0.
Hits off of David Wells, but no runs. Meanwhile, El Duque has faced 9 and retired 9. Toronto Blue Jays tonight at the stadium. Al Troutwig along with Ken Singleton for the 4th inning, and 2 pitchers, 2 well-pitched ball games.
And doing their jobs. David Wells getting a couple of double plays to help him out. Some good Blue Jay defensive plays. Yankees with a couple of mistakes early that might have cost them some runs. And in a tight ball game, and you expect that with David Wells going against you, it might come back to haunt them.
Second time that El Duque will face Shannon Stewart, Jose Cruz Jr., and Sean Green, the outfielders. 1, 2, 3 for the Blue Jays. If you're a Blue Jays fan, you have got to be psyched about the future of this ball club. Ground ball, Jeter. 6-3 on your scorecard, 1 out in the 4th. It's time for the Aflac Trivia Quiz, Ken. Knobloch and Jeter are one of 2 pairs of Major League infielders to play every inning this season. Who is, or who are, the other pair? They've been out there for every inning. What is it? It's who is the other pair, right?
It should be who is, because it's singular, right? Who is the other pair? There's only one pair, yeah.
Okay. Jose Cruz Jr. drawing walks, not hitting for average yet, 226.
You didn't go to school just to eat your lunch, huh?
Some days I did. You can see the breadth of the players. It is crispy tonight at Yankee Stadium. Fouled straight back. 2 balls and a strike.
Well, Jose Cruz Jr. last year spent 40 games in the minor leagues. Got off to a very slow start. Seemed to rectify his problems. Came back up. They say he has problems hitting off-speed stuff. There's an off-speed breaking ball. He tries to punt it.
He's got 2 home runs with 6 RBIs. And he was thinking about the whole way.
Well, he might have caught Louis Soho back.
Look at, he's got his fingers wrapped around the barrel of the bat.
You mean right here? You're not supposed to do that, Al. You're right. You're supposed to keep those fingers like cradling the bat.
I mean, if that pitch breaks the wrong way, he's got a broken digit. I'd be scared to death if I was the manager and saw one of my starting players do that. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Now, Duque made 1 start against the Blue Jays last year and beat them July 18th at Skydome in Toronto.
Got him. Beautiful pitch on 3-2. Took a little off.
Well, Duque now has 4 strikeouts in the game, 1 in each inning. This inning's not over with, so he might be able to get 1 more at least and break the string. But watch up Jose Cruz Jr. Now, we've always talked about hitter, be successful, you got to see he kind of rocks back. Got to keep that head still. Maybe a little too much movement, and that was a fastball, so it wasn't as if he was fooled on a changeup.
It's like golf. Keep the head still. Sean Green, I mean, he missed that pitch by 1.5 feet. He and Derek Jeter lead their teams in home runs with 5. So Jose Cruz Jr. still a young work in progress.
His dad could hit, though. I'll tell you that. Jose Cheo Cruz.
Up and in, 1-1. The Blue Jays have won 8 straight games. It's the best streak in baseball, and they are the first team to 12 wins. Jim Fregosi's quite a character. I think he does a good job of keeping the boys loose.
He was the manager for the Phillies against the Blue Jays in the '93 World Series.
Big time Met trivia question, too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember that.
Why didn't Noel and Ryan do all that great stuff for the Mets? Now back 2-2. Fregosi was one of the members on that long list that played third base for the Mets. That was the one position for all the years that they couldn't fill. Now they've got a pretty good one.
Yeah.
And they beat the Cubs today in a cold Wrigley Field game, 6-5. 2-2-2. El Duque looking to make it 12 up and 12 down. Infielders at the ready. And he goes full again. David Wells, no runs, 2 hits allowed. Chuck Knobloch took him off the hook big time in the first inning. David Wells drawing a nice sized crowd on a rainy Friday night.
You might expect it would have been larger.
Oh, if it had rained all day?
All day long it rained here in New York.
Our director, our Emmy award-winning director, has selected this as his favorite K poster in the upper deck. El Duque. Here it is. Full count delivery. Lost him. First base runner, first walk of the ball game issued by Orlando. Of course, you go full too often, you're not going to hit them all.
Well, it looked like he was going for the corner or nothing. It wasn't as if he was going to lay it in the middle of the plate to a tough hitter in a nothing ball game.
It is interesting, and hopefully we're going to get a chance to, well, of course, El Duque wouldn't want to hear it, but Roger Clemens says of anybody in baseball, no one makes the crack of the bat, the ball making contact with the wood, sound the way Carlos Delgado does. He said it's a singular thing of power. Sean Green back.
You have to keep an eye on Green. He was a 30-30 player last year. In fact, 35-35. 35 home runs, 35 steals. Good all-around player.
Speaking of that, how about Jose Canseco off to an 8 home run start for Tampa Bay? Looks like they're off to a better season, just like these Toronto Blue Jays.
Tampa Bay's won 5 straight.
Ball 1. One of the things that could be different about this season is the Yankees may have some games, or at least a series that you circle on your schedule, where they've got to show up and prove themselves. Last year they really never played a game of pressure. fouled off, 1-1.
You know, maybe the tip-off last year, the Yankees had a winning record against every team in the league except 2. The Angels, they were 5-6 against. They're the only team they had a losing record against. And the Blue Jays, the Yankees were 6-6 against Toronto last year. So that Toronto is, you know, nobody to fool around with. They can play ball.
Yeah, Blue Jays won 88 games. They're a year better in terms of experience with their young players. They've got some outstanding arms. That time the lead of Sean Green was a little bit further. And El Duque motions to Jorge Posada, pointing to his eyes. Stay alert back there.
Yeah, the top 3 in this Blue Jays order can run. Mentioned Green last year stealing 35. Shannon Stewart already has 8 steals this year. Jose Cruz Jr. has stolen 3 out of 4.
Wells misses 2-1. There was so much surrounding the firing of Tim Johnson in spring training, but when you look at the record and you hear what the players say, you almost say to yourself, they had to do it. Tony Fernandez uses the heavy metal bat. On deck. El Duque is trying to prevent him from getting up this inning. 2-1. Center field. Well hit and high. Back goes Bernie. To the limit of Yankee Stadium. That was about 405 feet. So El Duque strands a base runner. It's time for his team to take a shot at David Wells next. Yankees Blue Jays scoreless tie at the stadium. Good buzz in the building tonight.
Here's the last out. Here's how a pitcher makes good use of a center field. You see that fastball up and away? The best that Delgado could do, hit it a long way, but the straightaway center. And a long, loud out. And Jorge Posada and El Duque talking it over.
Here's the man who's leading all shortstops in all 3 Triple Crown categories, Derek Jeter. After Jeter, according to the numbers, it's Ricky Gutierrez of the Astros, Rich Aurelia of the Giants and Brooklyn, and Tampa Bay's Kevin Stocker. Alex Rodriguez not on the list. He's been hurt. Nomar Garciaparra doesn't have Mo Vaughn in his lineup this year. Ooh. Power against power there. 0-1.
You know, sometimes after a hitter has a good swing like that, pitcher will not go back in that area. Let's see if David Wells is frightened to throw that fastball up and in. Jeter looked as though he was kind of on it. The pitcher watches the way and reacts to the way hitters swing the bat. Now, will he go away with a changeup, come back with a curveball? Let's see. Hey, let's do it again.
See, well, that's the David Wells chutzpah, isn't it?
Well, it's a challenge. Didn't get it the first time. I dare you to get it this time. It's almost a carbon copy of the first pitch.
All right. Now, again?
No.
I think Wells is, you know, his mental profile is
different.
Yeah, he could do it.
He could make a statement here and just say 3 up, see ya.
Let's watch.
The tip-off will be where Fletcher sets up.
He shook it off twice. Same spot. Just a little bit more inside.
Well, right now he's telling Derek Jeter, I don't think you can hit this pitch in here. And you see a little smile on his face. He's elevating that pitch just enough. If he gets it down a little, that's where Jeter can handle it. But he's got it just up and in. It's a very difficult place for pitchers to place a ball.
2 balls and 2 strikes. He's sticking with the speedy stuff.
Well, he knows how effective Derek Jeter is at hitting the ball the other way with that inside out, which now has turned this year into a power stroke.
Broken bat, shot to short. Gonzalez long throw. And one shortstop throws out the other. Back to the Aflac trivia quiz. Jeter and Knobloch. Jeter and Knobloch out there for every inning of every game this season. The other pair to do it? The answer is Mike Lansing and Nefi Perez for Colorado. Would not have been up there on my list.
I would have said Ricky Gutierrez and Craig Biggio of the Houston Astros.
Here's Paul O'Neill, lifetime 1 for 15 against David Wells. Recently, he snapped a similar streak against Jesse Orozco. We'll see if he can do it again tonight. He's been off lately. The average has fallen to 260.
He snapped that streak with a home run against Orozco. And the way these pitchers are going right now, you would think that's might be the only way you're going to score tonight. Land the haymaker somewhere along the way.
One mistake or you get the pitch you want. 1-0. Bases empty, 1 out, scoreless tie. Now, what is that all about?
O'Neill steps out, and I think maybe the Fletcher giving the signs. Wells might have thought he had the pitch that he wanted, and Fletcher kept going. And in that case, O'Neill got tired of waiting and stepped out.
When he is on the mound, he is tightly wound. Handcuffs O'Neill with the inside fastball.
That was that two-seam fastball that Kitty pointed out or talked about earlier tonight, running in on the hands of the left-handed hitters. A new look for the lefties. Showed him a breaking ball going away, then a fastball that tailed in right underneath his swing.
Now, the one thing about Wells is that we saw from time to time he was definitely someone who would show facial disgust if one of his players did something he didn't like. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Paul O'Neill.
Here's that last pitch, and again, it kind of looks like that sinking fastball. O'Neill over the top. It might have been out of the zone.
O'Neill may not know he's 1 for 15 lifetime, but he knows he hasn't done much against Wells. Gets him badly. Wells owns that matchup. That is the 3rd strikeout for David Wells.
You know, the key pitch that might have set up this whole strikeout is there's the breaking ball up. That one right there, I think that set up the whole at-bat and the strikeout. Because he comes back, and while O'Neill looks like he might be thinking in, because no hitter wants to be jammed. He's always conscious of the inside. Then he goes back outside with this slow curve and strikes him out. I think that sinking fastball in on his hand set up that whole strikeout.
Bernie Williams went for a first pitch and grounded it to Pat Kelly, his ex-teammate. Ball 1. Bernie hitting .321 with only 1 home run to the upper deck in right field and 6 runs driven in. Tomorrow, if you watch the Yankees on Fox 5, you'll get to see Roy Halladay, a standing hard thrower for the Blue Jays, against Andy Pettit. This will do it for the Yankees here. Bernie Williams grounds out for a 2nd time. It's all zeros on the scoreboard. El Duque versus David Wells, and it's a beauty. No hits allowed by El Duque through 4. It's a good hitting team, the Toronto Blue Jays. Meanwhile, the Yankees haven't done much off of David Wells. It'll be Tony Fernandez, Willie Green, and Darren Fletcher. Tony is grooving here in the early going for Toronto, hitting .389. The only thing that would have made this better from a fan standpoint would have been Clemens versus Wells.
Yeah.
But we missed that one by a start.
This is giving them everything they would hope for, though.
A little broken back flare to center field. Bernie Williams can't make the play. Keeps the ball in front of him. First hit for the Toronto Blue Jays. The fans recognize that.
Toughest play to judge. You can see Bernie just, when the ball is hit off the end of the bat, you judge the ball by the swing. Hitter takes a big swing. You think it's coming out there a little farther. And you're right. He did get the glove up enough to at least bat it down and keep it to the point where Fernandez could not advance to second base. Curveball in on the trademark. Makes good use of that broken bat.
Fernandez only one of 4 Dominican players with more than 1,200 hits. He's on a short list with Julio Franco, Felipe Alou, and Cesar Cedeno. Now the hitter's Willie Green. It's not good when your DH is hitting only .214. So tell me about your night last night. You were with Joe Torre in the Heart Association dinner, and then with
a terrific night. Alan King, the MC, Billy Crystal, funny as always, and of course Joe with some very timely remarks. And then later, we really had a treat because Audra Chambliss was performing over at Tattoo. What a terrific show she put on, and most of the Yankee contingent went over to catch that.
Good crowd, I hope.
Yes.
Line drive, base hit, so back-to-back singles now for the Blue Jays. And advancing all the way to third on the throw is Tony Fernandez. Oh, the Yankees in their first little predicament here.
Boy, that's some great base running. We said earlier when Chuck Knobloch was thrown out at third, you don't make the first out at third base. And I think Fernandez fooled Paul O'Neill just a bit. Paul comes up fielding it cleanly and a strong throw, but give credit to Hernandez. He takes a quick glance, never hesitating. Those are those base running instincts. When that ball is hit and you have a sense whether you can make it or not. In a game like this, a little base running play like that could be huge.
Well, I think he saw it hit the grass. He knows it's been raining all day. This is slow. And he knows this stadium. So now nobody out. Runners at the corners for Darren Fletcher. Up to shortstop his first at bat. Here he uncranks one to center field. Bernie going a long way back and pulling it down. But we've got our first run of the ball game. It's Tony Fernandez. So the extra base that he took was big. The Blue Jays strike first. It's 1-0 as they go for their 9th straight win.
Well, Fletcher gets what appears to be a breaking ball and above the belt, which is all he's trying to do is drive the ball in the air and get that run in. That's exactly what he does, chasing Bernie back onto the warning track.
So that gets him up in the Blue Jays dugout. Now the hitter's Alex Gonzalez. 297, 1 home run, 9 RBIs. So far, he has added a big-time offensive dimension, and here slices one to center field. It'll be first and second with 1 out. Suddenly, El Duque's lost the edge. And it's come with the bottom half of the order at the plate.
As sharp as he was in the early innings, everything right on the corner, curveball down around the knees, he's very simply left about 2 or 3 breaking balls in the hitting zone. Beltai and the Blue Jays taking advantage. Check the location of this pitch. See, it hangs right up there, right in the middle of the plate, Beltai. And when you're scoring runs the way Toronto is, you don't miss those pitches.
Hey, Jim, all 3 hits have come on the first pitch. Does that tell you something?
Well, I think that pitch there, I mean, they're aggressive hitters anyway, but the pitch location just tells me that he's made 2 or 3 mistakes this inning in terms of leaving the ball in the middle of the plate.
Here's Pat Kelly. Average at .421, 3 home runs, 5 RBIs, and I could have talked to him all day about his experiences with Mark McGwire last year because he and McGwire were really tight. He swings at the first pitch and fouls it back.
We thought the Blue Jays would have good pitching, and they do, though Pat Hentgen has not pitched well yet. Joey Hamilton, another starter, is hurt. Their bullpen's been outstanding, but it's the fact that they're scoring 2 more runs per game under Jim Fregosi this year than they did last year. Leading the league in home runs. No one thought the Blue Jays would have this kind of run production.
They've hit 24 home runs, tied with Seattle, and have hit a home run in their last 11 games. So runners at first and second. Green is at second. Alex Gonzalez is at first. One ball and 1 strike. Pat Kelly had just the most unfortunate career. He was targeted from, the days when he was with the Clippers that he was going to be the Yankees' second baseman, and it seemed like Steve Sax's career would end at just the right time and allow him to get the chance. But if he wasn't hitting, he was hurt. And if he wasn't hurt, he wasn't hitting. And he just never had it all work out at the right time. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
And when you least expect it, and that might be why he's performing well. He didn't expect this. He had the first 2 home run game of his career ever earlier this week. And he's probably playing as relaxed as he's ever been in his life.
You know, he told me he really didn't understand it. He was hitting 340-something in spring training when the St. Louis Cardinals released him. They said that they wanted to get Fernando Vina, and they didn't want to pick up his contract. So he was doing everything. And maybe you're right. Maybe it's just pressure-free baseball and has allowed him to blossom. That's a beautiful pitch by El Duque. Came right back in over the strike zone, and there are 2 outs. So he's got Pat Kelly looking twice.
Not much you can do about that if you're Pat Kelly, even though Hernandez and Posada wanted the ball outside. You see the target? But it's going to come back inside, but it still buckles the knee. To Pat Kelly, it looked like that ball started behind him. How about that for creativity? El Duque. I love it. They got some beauties out there.
So now with 2 outs, the challenge is the leadoff hitter, Shannon Stewart, who's 0 for 2, strikeout, ground out. He's hitting .351. First and second, 1-0 Toronto, the run in this inning. The Blue Jays had some problems at home. Attendance was dwindling. Skydome actually filed for bankruptcy. But now reportedly a group that includes Pat Gillick, the former GM of the Blue Jays and more recently of the Orioles, has taken over the Skydome, and they have their sights set on buying the Blue Jays themselves.
And they got a good man. Unfortunately, because of what happened to Tim Johnson, Jim Fregosi had interviewed for the job earlier, but they got a good man in Fregosi. He's one of those managers that could care less what the press thinks about his moves, or, you know, and
he cracks you up, doesn't he?
Oh, he does. He's a very funny guy and a bright guy. Managed in some major markets, of course, Philadelphia as well as out on the West Coast. He's scouted. He's been in the player development end of it. Knows his stuff.
See the production in the leadoff spot, best in the majors, from Shannon Stewart. 1 ball and 2 strikes. And now the fans will make some noise. See if they can help El Duque get out of this inning.
Another angle with that breaking ball, and even though it's up in the strike zone, Shannon Stewart has a little trouble picking it up.
Jeter moved in for a play at second, but no throw.
Yeah, with 2 strikes on the hitter, that's not that important. You'd rather save those pickoff plays to get out of jams when there's only 1 out. With 2 strikes and 2 outs, not quite as important to try the pickoff play.
Down the line in right, and it is curling into the seats. You think Toronto's going to be able to stay with the Yankees?
I think they will, because of the way they're scoring runs. Pat Hentgen is going to get better. Joey Hamilton will get healthy. Their young pitchers, Halladay and Carpenter, are certainly get better. Their bullpen is better than we thought. I think they're in it for the long haul, barring any injuries to their key players.
He got him. Shannon Stewart lunges and couldn't hold back. With the Blue Jays strike, they get 1. Now we'll see if David Wells can hold on to a 1-0 lead. 1-0 Toronto. See if David Wells can hang on to it. Yankees will work on him in the bottom of the 5th inning. He's one of the stars In the 1998 Yankees, the season of their lives video. For a long time, it was the #1 selling sports video in New York. It's $13.95 plus shipping and handling. From spring training through the glorious 114-win season, on through the postseason and to the parade. It's the 1998 Yankees, the season of their lives. Call 1-800-637-8172. Chili Davis, Tino Martinez, Chad Curtis, second trip through on a very emotional night for David Wells. He got Chili Davis to strike out, and Wells has 3 Ks in the game. First pitch, single to right. Third hit for New York. Everybody's swinging at the first pitch all of a sudden.
Well, I think the Yankees are aware that Wells is a first pitch fastball hitter. You really see the inexperience of Delgado at first base. You can see he's already breaking for the bag. Carlos came up as a catcher, then played the outfield, and just doesn't quite have the instincts over there. This pitch down. Chili doesn't pull it, but down and away, takes it the other way.
Wouldn't you love to be in his brain to find out how the brain told the body to take a step toward first base?
I guess so. Well, you want to get there to catch the throw. That's
from who? Tino Martinez. And what made that play was Chili Davis was breaking for second. It opened up shortstop, and Tino blasted it through. So the Yankees with an immediate response. They run Chili Davis. The shortstop breaks for second, and look what happens.
It's the old riverboat gambler. Do what my instincts tell me to by Don Zimmer. Tino Martinez hasn't been productive. He's had some pretty good swings at David Wells. Zim is saying, I'm going to stay out of the double play. He starts Chili Davis. Gonzalez moves, hits it in the perfect spot. And just like that, you got first and third, nobody out.
Got to feel good to Tino Martinez. Now it's Chad Curtis's turn. He walked to lead off the third. But David Wells has been so good, he didn't even pay the normal penalty for the leadoff walk. Yankees have hit into 2 double plays. Curtis looks at ball 1. Game like this, you've got to figure every run is viewed.
See him at double play depth. Jim Fregosi will, of course, give up the run to get 2 outs.
2 balls and no strikes.
Could see a pretty aggressive swing right here. With Davis and Martinez first and third, Wells behind the count 2-0. You know he's going to challenge Chad Curtis, and we talked about Chad's success against David. He's a high fastball hitter, an excellent fastball hitter, and that's probably what he's going to get right here. Strength to strength.
Fastball outside corner. Fletcher set up right there.
Pitcher's pitch. Chad wanted it somewhere where he could drive it, and you're right. Fletcher with the target looked like a little 2-seam sinking fastball right on the corner.
Still a hitter's count. Wells takes his time. Fouled off, so that'll even things.
Boy, that's 2 great pitches in that situation. Now, if you're Chad Curtis as a hitter, your approach changes. With Chili Davis at third base, you become a defensive hitter, and you swing just like this. So this pitch is down and away. All Chad Curtis has to do is hit a soft ground ball to the right side. He's going to stay out of the double play, and he'll get the run home.
Tino was about 3 feet off the bag, so ceremonial throw more than anything else. Seems we've been saying it the entire season, save for the first few games. Won't somebody step up and claim left field for the Yankees? This would be a nice spot for Chad Curtis to come through for his team. 1, 2. Third ground into double play by a Yankee tonight. They do tie the score at 1. So it was sort of a success, but not really.
Again, it's not really a productive at-bat when you're ahead in the count 2-0, but credit Wells, he got the pitch inside. Curtis couldn't hit it the other way, and sure-handed Alex Gonzalez turns it into a quick double play. The Yankees are happy to get the run. And there are productive outs, but I don't think you can call that double play a real productive out.
So now it's Jorge Posada reached on an infield single. Average at 125. This is where Jorge has his only hits from the right side. The problem for him now, and he's so much better from the right this year, he's hitting .500 from the right side of the plate, but he's only had 5 at bats. Actually, he's even better than that. He's 3 for 5, and he's got nothing from the left side to Gonzalez, and there just aren't that many lefties in baseball. So that'll do it for the Yankees here through 5. It's 1-1 in a pitcher's duel. I'll see you on the post game. Ken Singleton rejoins Jim Cott. Let's go to Deb Kaufman.
Got the pitcher's duel we anticipated, David Wells and Orlando Hernandez. Tomorrow the Devils and the Penguins will collide for game 2 of their playoff battle. That's a 2 o'clock start on Fox Sports Net New York. Then Sunday it's an 8 o'clock tip-off at the Meadowlands. The Nets battle Reggie Miller and the Pacers. And then on Monday the Knicks are on the road for an important matchup against the Charlotte Hornets. That'll be 7:30 right here on MSG. Plenty of action coming up. Check your local listings.
Tonight the Knicks are up by 14 at the half down at the Garden against the Hornets, and a must win for the Knicks as Jose Cruz Jr. will lead it off. He is struck out and grounded out 0 for 2. Top of the 6th inning, a 1-1 tie. El Duque and David Wells hooked up. 1 ball and a strike on Jose Cruz Jr., who we mentioned the 21 walks that he's gotten this year, which shows his eye has improved, but he's also struck out 16 times. There's a breaking ball lined, and it's fair. Hit it towards the corner. Paul Neal's going to cut it off. Cruz takes the turn and is going to hold on with a single. And Karam came right to Paul O'Neill, and Cruz was unable to head to second with a 2-base hit.
Well, for the 2nd straight inning now, El Duque with his curveball a little high in the strike zone. That's that low and in zone that we talked about with left-hand hitters. That is right in the perfect zone for them to drop the bad head on it.
Here is Sean Green. We mentioned that he was a 30-30 player last year. 35 home runs, 35 stolen bases. But he also was a 100-100 man. Here's a throw over the first to check on Cruz. 106 runs scored for Green. And his last game of the season last year hit a home run for his 100th run batted in.
Gives a lot of credit to Jose Canseco for his success at the plate and his approach at the plate.
Blue Jays with a man on, nobody out, 1-1 game, 6th inning. The backdoor curveball into our first strike, 0-1.
Sean said that he'd get in, 0 for 5, 0 for 6, and Canseco was always right there on the bench to say, hey, don't swing defensively now. Just go up there, keep cutting and slashing, and they'll fall in. And they did.
The danger is Carlos Delgado on deck. Fastball lifted in the air to left center field. This is going to chase Chad Curtis back to the warning track, almost to the wall, and makes the catch. Cruz was almost down to second base, turns and heads back. A long fly ball off the bat of Sean Green, who has good power to the opposite field. And that's out number 1.
As a good example of the swirling winds here at the stadium. That ball down and away. I don't think Green thought he got enough of it, but watch how far Curtis has to go and circle to catch the ball. He has to reach back over his left shoulder, almost runs out of room out there because of the, see, the flags indicate that the ball is going that way. But those of you who have been with us know that telltale sign. It's that bat right up there. When the knob of that bat is pointed that way, That's the direction the ball is drifting, and that's what happened to that fly ball to Sean Green.
Here is Carlos Delgado. Infield, they double played that. Now Duque, there's a certain rhythm to each and every pitch, and the rhythm was broken for Delgado as he steps out. Pitches inside for ball one. Here's our New York Marriott marquee matchup for this evening. David Wells has worked 5 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 3 strikeouts, 2 walks. That's about his limit. Del Duque 5 1/3, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 6 strikeouts, and 1 walk. Toss over the first, and Cruz is back. In Florida, Del Duque's brother Levon, his half-brother Levon, hit a home run tonight for the Florida Marlins. And the Marlins have beat up on Tom Glavine, your National League Cy Young Award winner, and lead 9-1 in the 8th inning. Curveball to the corner for a strike, 1-1.
I don't know if it's the weather getting a little colder actually, but you see El Duque really blowing on his hand. Now Delgado's going to give up on that pitch because we call that the backdoor breaking ball. Posada did a nice job of pulling it in, but he seems to have a little more trouble the last couple innings of gripping the ball. He doesn't have quite the snap on that curveball he did earlier.
Trying to come inside with the fastball, and it's a little too far in. 2 balls and a strike on Delgado. Tony Fernandez, the veteran, on deck. The outfield is deep. Another inside fastball. 3 balls and a strike. Don Zimmer looking on. He knows his Blue Jay offense has been red hot early in the season. They came into tonight tied with the Cleveland Indians for the most runs scored in the league. They have various ways to beat you. They led the league in stolen bases a year ago. They lead the league in home runs this year. There's another check on Cruz over at first base. And when you have a club that has diversified offense, you don't have to rely on one or the other to win ball games. Your speed can help you. Your power can help you. Another check on Cruz over at first base. As I watch Jose Cruz Jr., you know, I think of his dad, who was maybe more of a contact hitter, maybe not as much of a power hitter as his son, at least not looking to hit home runs. But he played in the expanse of the Astrodome for most of his career. Curveball hangs high, and it's going to be ball 4 to Delgado. And the Blue Jays have 2 on with 1 out here in the top of the 6th.
Again, you could see Orlando Hernandez really having a tough time gripping that ball.
And that is his 2nd walk of the night. Moves a runner into scoring position for Tony Fernandez, who had the first hit for the Blue Jays last inning and has scored the only run of the game, at least the Blue Jays' only run of the game, in this 1-1 tie.
He's off to quite a start, Kenny. 10-game hitting streak for the Blue Jays.
He came in hitting .396, and with that hit, the 1 for 2, Tony Fernandez is now hitting an even .400 on the season. 4-time Gold Glover as a shortstop. Went to second base and now playing third. Blowing inside, ball 1.
That's a tension-free swing. Tony Fernandez, you can see him just cradle that bat in his fingers. Very little pressure on the bat handle.
Everything tightens up when you swing it. 1-0 pitch, broken bat, lifted towards left center. Bernie Williams drifts over to his right and makes the catch. 2 down, the runners will retreat. Now, this is a swing that's produced over 2,100 hits.
See, the top hand isn't even gripping the bat. It's just kind of out in the fingertips, but El Duque makes a good pitcher's pitch. He got it up and in where Fernandez couldn't get the arms extended.
Here is Willie Green. And Kitty mentioned that Willie Green has bounced around for several organizations. He was a former #1 draft pick of the Pittsburgh Pirates back in 1989. So the promise is really yet to be fulfilled. Ground ball to Tino Martinez, knocks it down. He will have no play. And that should be an error on the Yankee first baseman, as Willie Green will arrive safely. And the Jays will have the bases loaded and 2 outs.
Yeah, Tino's been very dependable there, but you can see him go at that ball with sort of a stiff arm and glove right there. Not a lot of softness there, and he tried to close it before he had the ball. Again, you don't make excuses for players. Everybody has the same conditions, but it's getting a lot colder, and I think it has effect on pitchers gripping the ball, and maybe a play like that gives you an indication of the effect it had on the fielders.
Here is Darren Fletcher, who drove home the Blue Jay run last inning with a sacrifice fly to Bernie Williams in center. This time a fly ball will not do the job. He's up there with the bases loaded and 2 outs. Fletcher, another guy, is a good low fastball hitter. The sinker is away for ball 1. Cruz at third, Delgado at second, Green at first. This one is fouled straight back. Fletcher had a good cut. Now we're leaving things off at a ball and a strike. Now Duque's had to work hard these last 2 innings. He gave up a run on 3 hits last inning. He's given up a hit and a walk in this inning, and now the error has prolonged it. He's going to have to work out of a bases loaded jam. Nice overview of Yankee Stadium and the conditions.
Straight away in the outfield, just a little to pull at second base.
Just inside, 2 balls and a strike.
Boy, hot water bottles ought to be awfully popular on those dugout benches tonight. You could really see the players blowing on those hands to try to keep a little feel in it. That's how Boomer's keeping his hand warm.
Fletcher lifts a high fly ball just beyond second base. Derek Jeter's back there, makes the catch. And El Duque has gotten out of a bases loaded jam here in the top of the 6th inning. The end of 5 1/2 at the stadium. We are tied at 1. Bottom of the 6th inning, and a reminder, this copyrighted telecast is authorized under rights granted by the New York Yankees solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any publications, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of these pictures, descriptions, and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the New York Yankees and Madison Square Garden Network is strictly prohibited. A little conversation as Derek Jeter talking over with Willie Randolph, and El Duque gets in there with Jose Cardinal, and who's going to translate and maybe positioning in the field. And yeah, going back and forth as Louis Soho will lead it off. Had a chance to talk to Louis before the game, and last year he only got 147 at-bats with the Yankees, so it's very important for him to play winter ball in his native Venezuela. He plays for the Lara Cardinales and takes a pitch down low, 2 balls and no strikes, and he plays 2 months leading into spring training. He doesn't play the full season, but 2 months leading into spring training, and for the 2nd year in a row the Cardinales went to the Caribbean World Series. And I asked Louis, does he play all the positions like he does here with the Yankees? He said, no, I only play shortstop.
Yeah, that was his original. Of course, when Louis in the field, we'll see him with that number 14 on his cap, and that's Out of respect for his countryman Andres Galarraga, who is recovering from cancer and unable to play right now for the Braves.
2-1 pitch to the corner. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Luis Sojo. We're in a 1-1 game. Each team scoring their run in the 5th inning. Top of the order, Chuck Knobloch on deck. Tried it again. Sojo lifts a fly ball to right field for Sean Green. 1 down in the 6th. You know, each one of those Blue Jay outfielders capable of playing center field. That's their type of speed out there.
That's what Pat Kelly talked about with Al Trautwig on our Marriott Marquis Scorecard show. He said these guys have made Green, Stewart, and Cruz some unbelievable catches to bail the Toronto pitching staff out of trouble. That's a nice option for Jim Fregosi. Of course, Stewart not in center because he doesn't have the strong throwing arm, but they all have the speed to play there.
All of them 26 years old or younger in the outfield. Chuck Knobloch singled, stole the base, and popped out. Swings at the first pitch and fouls it off.
I've heard some baseball people say, Kenny, that you cannot have a turning point in the first inning of a game. I don't agree with them. I think tonight in a game like this right now, the key play in this ball game for the Yankees was Chuck Knobloch trying to steal third base with nobody out. David Wells, his control was a little shaky. He was behind on the count to Jeter. And Knobloch's attempt to steal really kind of helped him out of a jam and helped him relax.
That leaving the count at 1-1, especially with Jeter's ability to hit the ball to the right side, move the runner along. Even if he makes an out, it would probably be a productive one. And Jeter's ability to bunt, we've seen that too. With a runner at second and nobody out, he lay the ball down. But right now, we're hooked up in a 1-1 duel. Changeup swung on and missed. Ball and 2 strikes.
Well, he's become a 4-pitch pitcher. Always known as a fastball pitcher, but there's the changeup. He's seen Knobloch very aggressive, turn a couple fastballs around. You can see Chuck pull off that ball well out in front of it.
1 ball and 2 strikes on Knobloch. Curveball bounced toward short, and Gonzalez. There's 2 outs. 2 up and 2 down for the Yankees here in the bottom of the 6th inning. That'll leave it up to their shortstop, Derek Jeter. Kitty, you ever listen to ZZ Top?
Not lately.
Well, they're that group, you know, the bearded group, where they have a blues-like sound.
Right.
But if you get their greatest hit CD, one of the songs is called "I'm Bad, I'm Nationwide."
Audra Chambliss didn't sing that.
No, she didn't.
I didn't think so.
Well, that kind of applies to Derek Jeter. He's bad and he's nationwide.
He's going to become the Michael Jordan of the American League.
Swings at a fastball and fouls it back.
I'll tell you, this has been a nice battle of strength against strength, because David Wells keeps it. I heard your comment about, you know, he might not go up there again, and Boomer's just pure arrogance. He's saying, I don't care how good a fastball hitter you are, I'm coming right back in there, one right after the other.
You know, it's ironic with Wells on the mound tonight. He only had 1 loss here at Yankee Stadium last year. Went 11-1 in the regular season, undefeated in the postseason. The only loss was to, you're right, the Toronto Blue Jays. Jeter fouls it back.
There he goes again.
0-2 on Jeter.
Only David Cone has a higher winning percentage than David Wells here at Yankee Stadium. Those include pitchers from all ball clubs.
That only loss came on September 12th, as I mentioned, and he lost 5-3 to the Jays. Way ahead on Jeter. Curveball hangs high. Imagine that, just 11-1, undefeated in the postseason. You tack those on too, so just tremendous here in the Bronx for David Wells.
Roger Clemens has a lot to live up to equal what David Wells did here in the past 2 seasons. He'll get a shot at the all-time American League record of 18 straight wins next Tuesday in Texas.
Bouncing ball towards third for the veteran, Tony Fernandez. He'll throw out Jeter, and it's 1-2-3 for the Yankees here in the 6th. Nothing across against the Boomer. We're headed to the 7th with the game tied at 1-all. New York Yankees baseball is brought to you in part by BMW. Stop dreaming, start driving, the ultimate driving machine. And by Intelligent, bringing small and mid-sized companies local, long distance, and high-speed internet. All from one company, all on one bill. Now Duque to the 7th inning. He's allowed a run on 4 hits. He's allowed all 4 hits in the last 2 innings. Alex Gonzalez has one of them, and he'll lead it off here in the 7th. Gonzalez, Kelly, and Stewart. Check this swing. Yes, he did, according to Richie Garcia, the first base umpire. So it's ball 1 to Gonzalez leading off. Pitch is fouled straight back. A ball and a strike.
It's kind of a win-win night for the fans that have come out here. They certainly would like to see the Yankees win. Pat Kelly waits on deck, and the game is shaping up the type of game exactly what they would want. I think they'd like to see it 1-1 with David Wells pitching well, and then he departs and the Yankees win it.
Nice little tight slider, a curveball, and strike 2 on Gonzalez.
But I would have to think that even a high percentage of them would not be disappointed if David Wells went ahead and did get the win in this ball game. So near and dear to these fans he's become.
Another breaking ball swung on and missed, and Gonzalez has struck out leading off the 7th. And that is strikeout number 7 for El Duque.
Well, you won't find him very often without blowing on that hand, and that's to get a good grip on the breaking ball. And he puts this in a perfect spot. You see the front leg pull away and the ball break near the outside corner. Another version of the Duke, El Duque.
They're starting to add up. Here's Pat Kelly. He has 2 of those Ks. It's called out on strikes in the 3rd. Same thing in the 5th. This one high in the air to short left field. Chad Curtis ambles in. Drifts in now. Makes the catch. 2 down.
Kenny El Duque has now moved into 2nd spot in the American League in strikeouts, right behind Pedro Martinez and some other high points of this Yankee pitching staff. The starters, the Yankee starters, are the only staff with an earned run average under 3, and they've allowed the fewest number of hits in the American League. So the pitchers have been getting the job done.
Here's Shannon Stewart, 1/3 of which looks to be a very, very good Blue Jays outfield for a number of years. And you go back to a few years ago, the Blue Jays had a very strong young outfield. George Bell in left, had Jesse Barfield in right. And if I look down at that first base coaching box, as Stewart fouls this one off.
The shaker.
The shaker, yeah. Lloyd Mosby was the center fielder on that club. And I tell you, all 3 of those guys could play. They could run, play defense, and they could hit.
Kind of ironic that Mosby is on the coaching staff with the Blue Jays now, because we talk about David Wells and his nickname, the Boomer.
Strike 2.
Actually, it was Lloyd Mosby who nicknamed David Wells his first stint with the Blues. Nicknamed him Boomer after Greg Boomer Wells, who was a right-hand hitting outfielder.
How did the shaker get his nickname, the shaker? From basketball. Said nobody could cover him. Way outside and back to the screen. 2-2. Two balls and 2 strikes on Shannon Stewart. El Duque tried to make it a 1-2-3-7. The Boomer is back. Stewart lays off, and the count is run full at 3-2. Here's a batter you don't want to get to first in a close ball game with his great speed. Cruz is on deck. There's the Blue Jays box score. Nobody yet with a multiple hit game going. payoff pitch. Fastball inside, and he walked it. So the pressure is on for El Duque to hold Stewart close. And Posada maybe to take a chance on throwing him out if he goes.
Looked like he lost his footing a little bit on the mound on that pitch. And you're right, 1-1 game in the 7th inning. Take another look at the delivery. Let's check the plant foot when it goes down. Nope, just missed his location. And you can bet Shannon Stewart's going to try to steal second base sometime during this sequence.
He's not going. Cruz lays down a bunt, and it's a good one. El Duque off the mound, looks, throws the first, and not in time. Jose Cruz with a bunt single that will move Stewart down to second base and into scoring position. So with 2 outs, catching Luis Sojo back, and the Blue Jays have something going after the first 2 men were retired.
Well, now, if Sean Green gets a hit, this is a good play. But I think most baseball managers would say, tie game, man on first. They don't want you bunting. They want you swinging the bat to try to knock the run in and hit an extra base hit. Now you're putting all the pressure on Sean Green. Of course, if Sean Green gets a single, and they say, wow, that was a good play. But I think most guys would prefer to see a left-hand hitter against a right-hand pitcher swing the bat.
I would also think you would probably get fastballs.
Right.
With Shannon Stewart on first. Cruz a better fastball hitter. Here's Green, takes a pitch low for a ball.
I mean, granted, he's dropping a bunt down to get their best all-around hitter along with Delgado to the plate. You know, if you did that with a number 9 hitter coming up, it would really be a bad play.
2 on and 2 outs. Here at the top of the 7th. Another off-speed pitch down low. 2 balls and no strikes to Sean Green. Shannon Stewart at second, Jose Cruz Jr. at first.
Pitch count now a little over 100, and you can just tell from the sharpness on the pitches, Mike Stanton getting ready to face Delgado. So if Posada's going to buy a little time here, give him more time to get ready. But you can see by the spin on the breaking ball and the location that as the game is worn on and the temperatures have dropped, Hernandez just does not have the same feel of the ball he had in the first 3 innings.
Swings through a high fastball, and the count is 2-1. A challenging type fastball from El Duque.
Yeah, the one thing he's got to make up for that is a lot of heart and a lot of stomach. We saw that in game 4 of the division series last year, or the championship series last year in Cleveland.
Shakes off one pitch, and now is ready. Fastball to the corner for a call strike, 2-2. El Duque's looking for any inspiration, trying to get out of this inning. Maybe this will do it. His brother Levon won the ball game 9-1 with his first home run against the Braves and drove in 4 runs tonight. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 men on in a 1-1 game. Breaking ball, grounded foul, and the count will hold at 2-2. Speed on the bases for the Jays. And also a speedy runner at the plate. Here's a guy who drove in 100 runs last year. Not doing as well this year in these situations. Swung on it, missed, strike 3, he got him. El Duque, second strikeout of the inning, his 8th of the game. At the end of 6.5, we're still tied at 1. For the 7th inning stretch in a 1-1 ball game. And here's a look at the National Finance Corporation Skycam. National Finance Corporation. Homeowners, lower your monthly payments. Apply by phone. The number is 1-800-LOAN-NFC. Nice overview of a chilly night here at Yankee Stadium. 1-1 game. We got a good one going.
This has been everything you hope for. You know, when Clemens and Messina hooked up, you kind of hoped for a pitcher's duel. And this is the kind of game you hoped for tonight, and we got it.
O'Neill, Williams, and Davis. 3, 4, and 5 for the Yankees here in the 7th. O'Neill is grounded into a double play and struck out swinging. 0 for 2. Boomer hangs a curveball high, and it's ball 1.
He has used that new two-seam fastball that he's running in on the left-hand hitters. He used it to O'Neill in the last at-bat.
A new wrinkle for a new season from David Wells. This is 2 balls and no strikes. Now, Kitty, what kind of things do managers and pitching coaches look for that tell them maybe the pitchers are getting a little tired?
Well, I thought with El Duque, you know, the spin on the curveball, but he's still got some big outs. But I think that's what Jim Fregosi and Mel Queen would look for, as would Mel Stottlemyre, is late in the game when a pitcher gets the ball up and they start driving it. That's the telltale sign.
Ball 3. 3 balls and no strikes.
Or things like this. David Wells has already walked 2. That's a lot for him. And if he starts missing the strike zone, you're going to see that Toronto bullpen get up in a hurry. I'm sure Fregosi and Mel Queen, with a sense and a feel for this game, would love to leave him in there as long as they possibly can.
3-0 pitch is right in there for a strike. O'Neill taking all the way. Bernie Williams is on deck. Tino Martinez talking with Don Zimmer. 3-1 pitch, low, ball 4. And the Yankees have a leadoff man on here in the 7th inning. Walk number 3. Charged to David Wells. He is now walked 3 and struck out 3. And you see Jim Fregosi getting a little more animated in the dugout. Bernie Williams is grounded out twice, once to second, once to short. I would think that you would move around out the bullpen just to stay warm. Men who shared the dream last year facing off in a clutch situation. David Wells and Bernie Williams. Both last year on the world champion Yankees. Looked like a cutter inside for ball 1.
And the one thing Bernie has done, which the majority of the Yankee hitters do not do this year, is swing very early in the count. He has not been quite as patient as O'Neill and Martinez, Chili Davis. And that might be why you'll see Wells and Fletcher go at him with some off-speed stuff early and try to get him to chase something.
Pitch is foul back. We go back to May 17th of last year. After that final out, David Wells was carried off the field by the Yankees. His teammates, Bernie Williams is one of those guys on the bottom holding him up. I'd like to hold him up for a base hit right here. Yankees have a run on 4 hits. So far tonight, they've only left 1 man on base. Bernie, as he usually does, will step out and try and dictate the pace of an at-bat. Breaking ball is inside, 2 balls and a strike. He misses with the curve. Second straight hitter. Wells has fallen behind.
Can't get enough warmth in those hands on a night like tonight.
Even Bernie with the gloves kind of trying to blow on that top hand on the bat. Delgado over at first. Trying to keep his fingers warm in case the ball is hitting his direction. Bernie swings and pops it up over near the Yankees dugout. Delgado coming over and runs out of real estate. It's in the seats. The count will move to 2-2. Darren Fletcher also with a look. They're going to talk over this next pitch.
That's one way to keep those patties warm. the Blue Jay bench. You notice the last couple swings, Bernie Williams has taken a shot to right field. Cruz in center field is playing him a bit like a pull hitter, so there's a big gap out there in right center. And both those last couple swings, Bernie's swung at it like he's trying to hit it that direction. Plenty of room out there.
2 balls, 2 strikes, nobody out. A man at first for the Yankees in a 1-1 game here at the bottom of the 7th. This has been a good one. That is low, and the count has gone 3-2. Now a chance for the Yankees to send Paul O'Neill, with Chili Davis coming up next. Trying to stay out of the double play.
You got to have confidence that Bernie Williams can make contact with it. Don Zimmer certainly has that. You start O'Neill and do exactly what you said. Stay out of the double play, move the infielders around.
This could be a key part of the game. What happens when Bernie Williams is at bat? O'Neill's going. The pitch is fouled straight back.
Well, that was about as aggressive a swing as Bernie's had. 3-2 game like this, you know you're going to get a fastball. I mean, if Boomer threw a changeup over right now, you just tip your hat. And you talked earlier, Kenny, about it's not how hard you swing the bat, but how fast, and that swing had some speed to it.
Little one-on-one there. O'Neill made sure that David Wells delivered the ball to the plate. He actually got a late jump. He's going. Bernie swings. He fouls it off. We'll do it again. Now remains 3 balls and 2 strikes. O'Neill making sure that David Wells delivers the ball to the plate. Three balls, 2 strikes, nobody out. Wells does not like what he sees from Fletcher, at least at this point.
Either Fletcher called a breaking ball and Wells said, no, I'm sticking with the Blazer.
Payoff pitch. Bernie fouls another one off. We'll do it again. And once again, O'Neill will have to retreat and head back to first.
But the deeper you get into it at bat, and now you're looking at another 9-10 pitch at bat, the more thoughts going through the pitcher and catcher's mind is now the time to change and go to the off-speed pitch. Because all Bernie Williams, he's geared for the fastball right now. So if you do throw him a breaking ball and get it in the strike zone, pretty good chance you got it.
In other words, go to the tricks.
Yeah.
That's what hitters say. He's going to go to the tricks pretty soon. Bernie's fought off several pitches here. The count remains full, 3-2. Fletcher with the sign. Pitch is on the way. O'Neill's going. The pitch is driven deep to right field, down the line, curving, foul. And that's what you're talking about, Bernie, trying to drive the ball the other way. But then once again, a foul ball, and the count remains full at 3-2.
That's a good 2-strike approach. Pitch down and away, and Bernie with a very short, compact swing. 10th pitch of the at-bat. Slices it foul down the right field line. For a moment, the Yankees thought it might have a chance to be a home run.
Zim better be careful trying to run up those steps, huh?
His knee's getting better, though.
That's good to hear. The 11th pitch of this at-bat is on the way. No, it's not. A toss to first to check on O'Neill. A little more suspense for the fans here at the stadium and for those of you watching at home. You know what he's thinking, El Duque? Just get me one more, guys. One more. O'Neill at first with nobody out. It's low for ball 4. And the at-bat that wouldn't end does in a walk.
Boy, that was just a terrific at-bat. And the Blue Jays have not had anybody up in the bullpen. I think Jim Fregosi would love to see David Wells handle this himself, but now they do get up a native New Yorker, Peter Monroe, from Bayside, New York, who's done a good job out of the Blue Jay bullpen. And this is the at-bat we're talking about. Bernie fouled off a lot of tough pitches, and they went to the cutter. They went to the cutter, but he didn't get it in the strike zone, and Bernie didn't bite. Good discipline.
Yeah, you mentioned for a hitter that has been swinging it early in the count, Bernie went deep in the count this particular time and drew the walk in a clutch situation.
This trip by Mel Queen, I think just buying a little time to give Monroe a chance to get warmed up. And you certainly don't anticipate Chili Davis trying to drop down a sacrifice bunt, so I'm sure at that same time they had a little talk with all the infielders.
Well, I don't think so. With even though an RBI man, Tino Martinez, is coming up next, he's a left-handed hitter, and Chili steps in hitting .375. He was struck out tonight, singled, and scored the Yankees' lone run. Fastball is inside for ball one. Third straight hitter that David Wells has fallen behind in the count. O'Neill at second, Williams at first. Chili Davis, who has been one of the hottest hitters in the league right from the very start of the season, is at the plate for the Yankees. The 1-0 pitch swung on and lifted foul by Davis, and the count is a ball and a strike. Chili has been very productive during his career. Third most home runs in history by a switch hitter. Only the great Mickey Mantle and Eddie Murray as switch hitters have hit more home runs than Chili Davis. Runners lead. Up and in, ball two. 2 balls and a strike.
All right, you mentioned the production of Chili Davis as a veteran. The older you get, the tougher it is to get around on that fastball. What he's done a good job of this year is to get the bat started a little quicker. And chances are, again, 2-1 count. Wells falls behind. You're going to guess fastball and start that swing just a little faster.
Yankees have won 2 in a row. The Blue Jays have won 8 in a row. Something's got to give. The runners are going. The pitch is driven to right field. Green will not get it. It's off the wall. O'Neill will score. Bernie Williams is coming around to score. It's a double for Chili Davis, and the Yankees have taken a 3-1 lead. Chili stays hot, and 7 hits in his last 8 at-bats against David Wells. Second time tonight that Don Zimmer has sent the runners, and this one paid off.
The gambling nature of Don Zimmer. I mean, if Chili Davis hits a line drive, that could be a triple play. Zim knew Davis was going to get a fastball, gambled on starting the runners to stay out of the double play, and Chili delivered. Nice approach. Dug out on their feet, realizing it's going to be an extra base hit.
There's reaction from the Yankee dugout, and Tino Martinez steps in. Still nobody out. Pitch is in there for a called strike. Well, once again, I'd mentioned that at bat of Bernie Williams. Maybe he's the key that helped move the runner in the scoring position. Certainly Chili Davis came up with a hit. But both walks have scored here in the 7th. Bouncing ball towards the middle into center field. It's going to be a base hit. Chili Davis being waved home. Jose Cruz will flip the ball into second. It's 4-1 Yankees on the RBI single by Tino Martinez. And it looks like Jim Fregosi has seen enough. Still nobody out here in the 7th inning. As Tino Martinez comes up with his 2nd hit of the night. And this one will knock David Wells out of the game. Chili Davis a 2-run double. The Boomer leaves, and listen to the reaction of the crowd. This call to the bullpen is brought to you by Intelligent, the Yankees' official local, long-distance, and internet provider. With a 3-run lead here in the 7th, still nobody out for the Yankees. And he's talking it over with Rick of the Day about what might be happening next inning. Well, tonight was a big night here at the stadium. A lot of electricity. Tomorrow night, certainly electricity when the Devils beat the Pittsburgh Penguins. It'll be at 1:30 p.m. on Fox Sports Net, New York. Eastern Conference quarterfinals. Peter Monroe, another one of those live young arms out of the Jays bullpen, facing Chad Curtis. And Kitty, you mentioned Monroe, a local product
From Bayside. See his numbers. The Blue Jays like the fact he's got 4 big league quality pitches.
Here's one of them, a curveball, could be 2. To flip the Gonzalez for 1 on the first, and it's a double play. So Monroe comes in, flips a couple of pitches up to Chad Curtis, and gets 2 outs.
You can see the intensity he brings to the bullpen. And Mel Queen, this is a pretty strong statement as you see Kelly and Gonzalez turn the double play nicely. Mel Queen says his cutter is about as close to unhittable as any right-hander in the league. And Monroe just 23 years old. Got him from the Red Sox in the Mike Stanley trade.
Monroe, he mentioned how young he is, just 23 years old. Be 24 on June the 14th. Hits to Posada over the outside corner for a strike. Jorge had a single in the 3rd and grounded to short in the 5th. The Yankees have broken it open with 3 runs here in the bottom of the 7th inning and now lead 4-1. A ball and a strike. Chili Davis, another big night, has scored a couple of runs, driven in 2. Curveball drops low, 2 balls and a strike.
You really have to credit the Yankee hitters with their approach against their ex-teammate David Wells tonight. I'm sure they looked at the video. Of course, they saw enough of him in person last year. But the at-bat by Bernie Williams that you talked about, Kenny, and the approach by Chili Davis. Remember some of Boomer's good games last year? There were so many fly balls to right field. The right-hand hitters don't try to pull them. They try to go the other way. And that's what paid off for the Yankees here in the 7th inning.
Full count now on Posada. In fact, Chili Davis, both of his hits been to right field tonight, even though he's a right-handed hitter, went the other way.
I'm sure Chris Chambliss prepared him for that prior to the game. It was one of his strengths, too. Chris was a hitter that had the ability to use the entire field.
2 balls and make that 3 balls and 2 strikes on Posada. Bernie Williams with a key base on ball. The old adage, a walk is as good as a hit. Sometimes it is. Posada swings through a good fastball, and Monroe comes in and gets the job done. But fans were cheering as Chili Davis drove one to the corner. The Yankees hop out of the dugout, and they cheer for David Wells' effort tonight. But at the end of 7th, it's 4-1 Yankees. On to the 8th inning. And here's a reminder, something you will not want to miss for sure. On Sunday, right here on MSG, it's Joe DiMaggio Day in the Bronx. Coverage starts at 1 o'clock. The Yanks and Jays take the field at 2:15. Then on Tuesday, New York invades Texas as the Yanks open up a 3-game set with the Rangers. At 8:30 start right here on MSG. There's plenty of pinstripe action coming up. Please check your local listings.
And they'll unveil the monument honoring Joe DiMaggio. We'll have all of those festivities for you starting at 1 o'clock on Sunday. The game will get underway about 2:15. David Cone scheduled to start. And of course, a lot of the former great Yankees, Phil Rizzuto, Whitey Ford, Gil McDougall, Jerry Coleman,
Yogi,
Hank Bauer, Yogi, they'll all be here. Well, it's been a battle of a couple of real warriors, El Duque and David Wells. And the one left standing right now is Orlando Hernandez. First pitch to Delgado. Good curveball in for a strike.
Well, we mentioned tonight might have been a case of matching eights as we look at Jeff Nelson, the right-hander, and Mike Stanton, the left-hander, warming up for the Yankees just in case. The Jays came in with a winning streak of 8 in a row, and El Duque's won 8 in a row here at the stadium.
He was in a perfect position tonight, El Duque was, as Jim Fregosi looks on. That's pulled foul, 1-2, because all the attention was on David Wells coming back. And I mean, here's a guy who has been the best pitcher on the Yankees staff the early part of the year. It certainly was this spring, and he just kind of sneaks out there and does what he does. 1 run, 5 hits in 7 innings. High and deep to right, but foul. And in David Wells' case, he has such impeccable control. You have to go back to April 20th of last year. That's the last time he walked 4 in a game, and ironically, it was a game he pitched against the Blue Jays. Off-speed pitch, got him. Big strikeout to start the 8th.
El Duque's had at least 1 strikeout in every inning, with the exception of the 6th. And as Kitty said, an off-speed breaking ball gets Delgado leading off the 8th inning. Strikeout number 9.
Great variety, and yet when you look at his pitches, you say, well, you know, what does he throw? Well, he's got a fastball, curveball, and a change. But it seems like he's got about 7 pitches because of all the different angles. And you throw in the deceptive motion along with it. Strike 1 to Tony Fernandez. And this is, if you're Don Zimmer, what you love to see your starting pitcher do. Your team gets 3 runs. You're working to the heart of the order, and he goes right out there and goes after him. Ball and a strike. Hit well left field. Curtis retreats, is looking up, and he got turned around on that one. He's not going to get it. Fernandez has a double. As again, the Yankee Stadium winds played a part in that. And Chad Curtis never got really turned around in a position where he could make a catch.
Veteran Tony Fernandez off to a great start. This is his 2nd hit tonight. He's gotten his average up to 400. And you can see Chad Curtis in the chasing mode over his head. Nice play off the wall. Gets the ball back in quickly. Trying to trail it, but I believe the ball kept drifting on him. Gets it back in, but it's a 2-base hit for Fernandez.
Here's Willie Green. That's going to drop in there in front of Curtis and Bernie Williams. Blue Jays come right back with a run, and Green will have his 2nd hit of the night, an RBI single.
Well, there's 3 guys in the Blue Jay lineup that El Duque has not struck out, and it's Fernandez, Green, and Fletcher. Everybody else has gone down at least once.
Nelson and Stanton have been warming, 113 pitches. And the Yankees will go to the bullpen. And Hernandez should get a nice round of applause. Those aren't boos. Those are Duques. This call to the bullpen brought to you by Telejet, the Yankees' official local long-distance and internet provider. Blue Jays have picked up a run. It's 4-2 with 1 out in the bottom of the 8th. Mike Stanton comes on, take over the pitching. But Jim Fregosi has some weapons on that Blue Jay bench this year. As El Duque hoping to finish off the Blue Jays in the 8th inning. Left a couple of pitches up now.
You know, if I'm a teammate and I'm sitting on the bench and I see my starting pitcher is upset because he's come out of the game, I'm happy that he's mad. I like the guys who want to stay in there and finish the job and get it done. As opposed to, there's other pitchers, they're always constantly looking over there, looking out of the bullpen.
5 and fly.
I got that lead. Get somebody else in here to finish it off for me.
Well, he's making his feelings known to Jose Cardinal. But quite a challenge for Mike Stanton in his 8th game, because the Blue Jays have gone to the bench and called on Geronimo Baroa. And has he been tough on the Yankees? He gets to come home, lives right near Yankee Stadium. 3 years ago, he had a 3-homer game right here in the stadium against the Yankees when he was with Oakland. Free swinger, first pitch outside for a ball.
The way he stands up there, it kind of reminds me of my former teammate, Lee May. That bat's always in motion. The big bopper, Lee May.
Off to a slow start, as you can see, 0 for 11 this year. Ooh, nice play by Tino Martinez to block the pickoff throw.
Well, a double play has been in order for the Blue Jays all night long. The Yankees have yet to turn one.
This could be one. Soho to Knobloch, cannot make the return throw, as the throw from Soho was a little low, and he said had no chance to turn to, and Chuck opted not to throw it.
Well, a couple of reasons why they weren't able to turn 2 on that ball. First of all, see Soho ranging far to his left. He was guarding the line against the extra base hit, so he had to go a ways for the ball. Second of all, the throw was low to Knobloch at second, as Soho gets rid of the ball quickly. So Knobloch, been a tough play. They get the force, and in an instance like this, you make sure of one.
I saw a big out recorded by Mike Stanton. Mel Stottlemyre will go to the bullpen again. This call to the bullpen brought to you by Telegent, the Yankees' official local long-distance and internet provider. Nelson comes on with 2 out here in the top of the 8th. The Yankees lead it by a pair. And tune in Sunday right here on MSG. It's Joe DiMaggio Day. I actually invite you to come out to the ballpark. The ceremonies will start at 1 p.m. Will be unveiling of the 5th monument out in Monument Park. A lot of the ex-Yankee greats like Yogi Berra, Phil Rizzuto, Whitey Ford, Hank Bauer, Jerry Coleman, Gil McDougall, all expected to be here. Tickets available at the ticket windows, Ticketmaster, by calling that number, and on the web, www.yankees.com. David Cone will pitch for the Yankees. As you see a picture there in the background of the 1941 World Champions. Joe D, a part of that team. Back to the business at hand. Jeff Nelson with Willie Green at first will face Alex Gonzalez. Breaking ball in for a strike, and if you like matchups from a Yankee fan standpoint, you have to like this. Gonzalez 0 for 11 against Nelson. Outside 1-1. Now this has been the formula for so many Yankee wins. A solid outing from their starting pitching, which they got again from Hernandez tonight. Then Stanton and Nelson piece it together. Good sweeping breaking ball there. Puts Gonzalez in a 1-2 hole, and one more strike would set it up for Mariano Rivera to close it out.
There's that tough motion on the right-handed hitters, and you can see that even though that ball broke out of the zone, you got the commitment from Gonzalez.
Two and two.
You know, the differences between the Blue Jay and the Yankee bullpen, the big difference is right there. The Yankees have one guy to close out the games, Mariano Rivera. The Blue Jays, talking to Jim Fregosi before the game, he said, I don't have a stopper. Depends on matchups at the end of the game.
Full count. 5 breaking balls, and that one well out of the strike zone will give Willie Green a head start. Robert Person, the ex-Met, is the stopper in the Blue Jay bullpen that Fregosi has gone to most often. Graham Lloyd from the left side, the ex-Yankee, has done a great job. In the air to short center. Knobloch back. Bernie Williams in. Bernie Williams will make the call and the catch. And Stanton and Nelson get a couple of big outs in the 8th. We head to the Yankee half of the 8th inning here at the stadium, and the Yankees lead it 4-2. Stadium a few hours ago, it didn't appear we were going to be able to get this game in. Cold, rainy. It's still cold, but the rain passed through, and David Wells was able to pitch against his former teammates. Nice reception from the crowd. And Boomer, other than a few base on balls, did a good job. Soho rips a single to center field to start the Yankee 8th. Well, the NBA season is winding down, and playoff spots are on the line. So Monday night right here on MSG, the Knicks are in hostile territory. They visit Charlotte for an important battle with the Hornets, and you can catch the pregame coverage at 7 o'clock. That starts with the MCS Cannons Knicks game night. MCS Cannon Knicks game night, 7 o'clock Monday night right here on MSG.
Yeah, Knicks pulled one out tonight down at the Garden against the Hornets, winning 110-105. 30 points for Allen Houston, and Patrick Ewing chipped in with 26, and a must win for the Knicks. I think they're now tied for that last playoff spot.
Knobloch takes high for a ball. Big leadoff single by Soho, because now with the lineup turning over, Don Zimmer can do so many things with Knobloch and Jeter and O'Neill to try to expand the 2-run lead. Knobloch has singled in 3 at-bats against David Wells. And for a strike.
Monroe have that hat pulled down far enough?
Got his game face on. That's one of the things that impressed the Blue Jays in spring training, his competitive attitude, kind of that bulldog approach. Mentioned the 4 pitches, not intimidated by big league hitters. Love to see a relief pitcher come in with that kind of aggressive attitude. Shows bunt, and it's a good one. Tony Fernandez, wow, what a play, but Delgado couldn't handle it. Alertly, Pat Kelly backs up the throw. A remarkable play by Tony Fernandez, but a tough throw for Delgado to handle on the receiving end, and a perfect bunt by Chuck Knobloch.
Lays it down. Watch his ball stay fair as Fernandez whips it towards first in the dirt. Delgado can't handle it, but alertly Pat Kelly will back up and keep this ball from going into the stands. There's the lead by Soho. The bunt is down. Now Louis turns, sees the ball get away. He's headed for third base. Yankees have runners on the corners.
A single credited to Knobloch and an error on the throw, allowing Soho to get to third base. Now here's Jeter with 2 on and nobody out. Inside, ball 1. Derek has been quiet tonight, drew a walk against David Wells in the first inning. As you see, the Blue Jays play him around to the right side. On the corner, 1-1. He's trying to extend his hitting streak to 11 games.
And he's checking with Willie Randolph to see what Chuck Knobloch's going to do at first, and Knobloch just got a visit from Jose Cardinal. We've already seen the Yankees run the hit and run play a couple of times tonight.
Good fastball. Well, that was an aggressive swing by Jeter trying to drive the ball.
In this at bat, we've seen Monroe use both sides of the plate. The previous pitch was over the outside corner, and he rears back and fires one on the inner half that Jeter couldn't get around on.
Now, if you're Derek Jeter, your approach changes. First and third, nobody out. Again, double play depth. If you just hit a ground ball to the right side, you're going to get a run home, pick up an RBI. Breaking ball just missed. 2-2.
How long do you think it's going to take, Kitty, before the league starts to figure out Jeter's not chasing that pitch anymore? That slider down and away that breaks out of the zone.
Well, I think the first time around this year they will. Soho at third, Knobloch at first. Jeter's already drawn 12 walks, and Derek has only struck out 5 times this year. Snap throw, and Knobloch back. 36,000 plus on hand tonight on a very chilly night. Now, you can credit a lot of that to coming out to see the return to the stadium at David Wells. Full count. O'Neill waits on deck.
Even with the left-handed hitter on deck, and then two switch hitters to follow, there's nobody warming up in the Jays bullpen. This is all Monroe's inning.
Holtz put low, and Derek Jeter draws another base on balls, and the Yankees have them loaded with nobody out. And the heart of their order coming up, and now Mel Queen goes to the bullpen.
You know, I think with Derek Jeter, and you mentioned the fact that he's getting more and more walks this year, being more patient at the plate, I think that he's gotten to the point in his career after the first 3 years successfully in this league that he knows he's going to get his hits. And the idea for him is to get on base. So in order to get on a little bit more, he's going to draw a few more walks. He's not going to leave the zone quite as often. That is Nerio Rodriguez, who the Blue Jays acquired from the Baltimore Orioles organization.
Another young hard thrower. Rodriguez at one time a catcher, but because of his strong throwing arm, converted to a pitcher. And Jim Fregosi showing a lot of confidence in Monroe. With O'Neill waiting on deck, as you mentioned, he never had any left-hander, either Plesac or Graham Lloyd, heating up in the bullpen. Of course, the Blue Jay bullpen has been used a great deal lately. Infield in, bases loaded, nobody out. Outside, ball one. Soho at third. Knobloch with a perfect bunt at second, and Jeter drew a walk. He's at first. (2-0). And Paul O'Neill right now, Kenny, probably visualizing that ball about bell tie in the inside corner, and if it's not there, you just let it pass.
Yep, time to go. Go for it with one swing of the bat.
Inside corner, strike one. O'Neill with a quick look at Tim Welke, didn't think so.
Now watch the glove of Mike Matheny. To reach for it a bit. I thought it might have been low more than anything else.
Matheny tugged it back. Of course, Matheny in the ball game right now. After Darren Fletcher left for a pinch hitter, that's what O'Neill has done with the bases loaded. 3 grand slams. Ooh. Swinging for 4 right there. I mean, that was a home run swing. Perfectly timed, just under the touch.
Well, he got the pitch. Only the velocity of the fastball enabled him to foul it back, or kept it from hitting it hard.
2-2. Left field. On comes Stewart, who does not have a strong throwing arm. Soho is tagging. The throw will come in to Gonzalez at third, and Paul O'Neill picks it up an RBI on the sacrifice fly, and it's 5-2 Yankees.
You know O'Neill is happy that he drove in a run, but maybe unhappy that he didn't hit the pitch before this one. Kind of jammed a little bit, and Willie Randolph is saying he doesn't have an arm go. And Shannon Stewart's idea is just to keep the other runners from advancing as Soho scores, and the Yankees tack on another run here in the 8th.
RBI number 16 for O'Neill. That is the top number for any number 3 hitters in the American League. Bernie Williams now will turn around and hit from the left side of the plate. High ball one, and there's those key at-bats of the ball game, and Kenny pointed it out when Bernie was up last inning. Fouled off some tough pitches, about an 11 pitch at bat, and finally drew a walk. David Wells walked both O'Neill and Bernie Williams, and Chili Davis delivered with the RBI double. fouled out of play, 1-1.
And Chuck Knobloch at second with Jeter on first behind him. Now here's where Knobloch might be thinking about stealing third base if he gets the jump. It's up to Jeter to follow him and watch him. Because with Bernie Williams at the plate, they might pass Bernie with one out, but then you bring up the hot-hitting Chili Davis with the bases loaded.
See the outfield rather deep in right and center. Yeah, the attempt in the first inning with nobody out, not a good percentage play. Right here it is. You get to third base with one out, and you can score on a fly ball or possibly even a ground out.
Just got to look for that little opening, and then Knobloch, an experienced base runner, get that little walk and lead.
Inside corner, strike two. Monroe has had good control on the inside corner. Bernie Williams, like Paul O'Neill, looked back at Tim Welke.
Yeah, maybe better control of the inside corner than the outside corner, at least in these last few at-bats, as he nicely pitched knee high on the inside corner to Bernie Williams.
Had a nice little tail to it going back over the inside corner.
How wide is that plate, kid? What, 16?
17 inches.
17?
Some nights seems like 6.
Some nights it seems like 25.
I'm not talking about the umpires. I'm talking about from the pitcher's standpoint. Good pitch by Monroe, and what a big out by the young New Yorker, striking out Bernie Williams.
Picks up his second strikeout. This time he elevates. Instead of down and in, this one's up and in. Ties Bernie up, strikes him out.
Chili Davis, for the first time, will step over to the left side of the plate. He's had a big night against David Wells, as Mariano stays warm as you can on a chilly night like tonight.
It is a chilly night.
On the left field line, that's going to fall in and plate at least another run. Knobloch will score. And Chili Davis has been the hitting hero tonight. Picks up his third RBI. And it's 6-2 Yankees.
Well, you heard the words of Jim Cott. It has been a chilly night in more ways than one here at the stadium. Chuck Knobloch scores the Yankees' 6th run. They now have a 4-run lead. You know, this might not be the best Chili Davis hit of the night, but he kind of fights it off and drops it in front of Shannon Stewart. And Mariano Rivera, I wonder if he's still going to come in.
Probably will, since he's warmed up. That's one of the reasons that he does not have a high save total, because so many games like this that are close and the Yankees pick up a couple of more runs and take it out of a save situation. The Yankees now with a 4-run lead as Tino takes strike one. Nelson got the last out in the 8th inning.
It's a day game tomorrow, though, so they might not run him in there.
Sliced down the left field line, but foul. Well, he has not pitched a lot lately, and if he's up and game ready, and you've already told Nelson Rivera's in the 9th inning, then psychologically you want to bring him in. But if he hasn't thrown that many pitches, sure, then you put the wraps on and go down to Nelson and say you got the 9th inning. Fouled out of play, still 0-2. The danger with not bringing him in is you call down there and you say, okay, we got a 4-run lead, set him down. Now Nelson goes out and a runner or two gets out, and then you have to get him up again, and it's a little tougher on a cold night like tonight to get game ready again after you've already been warmed up. Foul down the right field line, and the count's still 0-2 to Tino Martinez. Not a good month for Tino, and that's unusual. You see what he did in Aprils of 1997 and 1998. Those were terrific months for him.
Yeah, but from a hitter standpoint, he's still wet. He's got 7 days. This month's not over.
Backed him off the plate.
You have a heck of a week and get going in the right direction.
Pitch like that can get you going.
Yeah.
You know, 0-2, Monroe tied a little bow tie on him up around the neck. That went inside, 2-2.
So far from Monroe, we've seen a fastball, a curve, a slider.
Well, the Blue Jays said he had 4 quality pitches.
That's starter stuff, let alone a reliever. Reliever can get by with fastball, slider.
Outside corner strike. And Peter Monroe does a nice job after the Yankees get the bases loaded. With nobody out, they pick up a pair. And it looks like Jeff Nelson will stay on it to start the 9th inning. 6-2 Yankees back after this. 9th inning. And the April struggles continue for Tino Martinez as he pleads his case with Tim Welke.
It's nice when you can talk things over. Nobody seems to be getting too heated. And Tino just said, well, can't hit that ball.
He thought it was outside. Welke didn't. Pat Kelly will lead off the 9th for the Blue Jays. Shows bunt, takes ball 1. Let's check out our Budweiser defensive play of the game.
Well, let's go to the 3rd inning. That's Luis Sojo. Nice little double play turned by the Blue Jays. You see Gonzalez and the bare hand turned by Kelly right in the middle of this. 6-4-3 double play. The Blue Jays have turned, what, 4 double plays tonight?
That was a nice exchange. At the time, the Yankees had 2 on, nobody out, and it was still a scoreless ball game. Ball and a strike to Kelly. Tomorrow afternoon, Andy Pettit will make his 2nd start of the year. That game will be on Fox 5. Roy Halladay, the talented young right-hander from the Blue Jays. Breaking ball misses, 2-1. Blue Jays coming in here having won 8 straight. And Chili Davis trying to put an end to that has had a big night. 3-1 now to Kelly. Popped up. Bernie Williams in center field. And a big first out for Jeff Nelson and the Yankees here in the 9th inning. Dan Nolte just with the days off, getting a little exercise in. And the speedy Shannon Stewart will step in with 1 down in the Blue Jay 9th. If you haven't been with us from the beginning, there was some real electricity in this stadium when we approached game time. David Wells walking out to the mound with a standing ovation, and Orlando Hernandez got one of his own. But the 3 runs the Yankees put on the board in the 7th and then 2 more in the 8th has deflated these Blue Jays here and sent most of the 36,000 plus home. This is what we'll have for you following our coverage here. Deb Kaufman down at the National Finance Sports Desk. Highlights of the Yankees and Mets games, as well as the New York Knicks game. And then at midnight, what you don't catch on the National Finance Sports Desk, you pick up on Fox Sports News at midnight. That gives you the complete report nationally. And Nelson walks Shannon Stewart. Fell behind Kelly 3-1. And you see a little unrest because now Mel Stottlemyre may have to go to the phone and get Rivera up again.
Well, the matchup at the beginning of the night with David Wells and Orlando Hernandez, 2 pitchers who went undefeated in the postseason for the Yankees last year, and big reason why the Yankees were able to win the world title. And both of them great records in this ballpark.
Strike 1 to Jose Cruz. Ball and a strike. You see the difference tonight. Not that Jeff Nelson hasn't done it before, but there's a difference in pitching the 9th inning and the 8th inning. Nolte, I think, just just throwing for a little exercise, but Mariano, who has been up before, is getting ready again. Stewart on the run, pitch in for a strike. The Yankees not attempting to make a play. I don't even know if he'd get credited with a stolen base there.
I don't think so. I think he'll get
defensive indifference.
Yeah.
Ooh, just missed. 2-2. Fouled straight back. Cruz stays alive. Mentioned Jose Cruz Jr. coming into the game, leading the American League in walks. 21. Also leads the Blue Jays in strikeouts. So when you place your bat orders, just give him about a half a dozen. If he doesn't make as much contact as the other guys.
You know, it's obvious the Yankees are trying to throw him breaking balls all night long, feeling that he's quick enough on any fastball that can be thrown up there.
Did touch up Orlando Hernandez for a base hit on a curveball earlier tonight.
Cruz, a 3-time All-American at Rice University.
Got it. Good fastball from Nelson after the breaking balls. He blows the fastball past Cruz, and the Yankees 1 out away from winning the first game of this 3-game series.
Yeah, I mentioned that Cruz is a good fastball hitter, but after all that slow stuff and all the breaking balls, then you elevate a fastball and he can't get to it. Change of speeds.
Sean Green will represent the last hope for the Blue Jays. Ball 1. Toronto got on the board first in the top of the 5th inning. A couple of hits, a sacrifice fly by Darren Fletcher. Yankees came right back in their half of the 5th inning and added 1. And from then on, it's kind of been the Chili Davis show. 1-1. Chili with a RBI double in the 7th inning to knock in 2, and then added another one in the 8th inning. Ouch.
Wow. When baseball started, catchers didn't wear masks. They didn't wear shin guards, no chest protectors. But I don't believe the guys were throwing 90 miles an hour either.
Base hit. No attempt by Stewart to score with the Blue Jays down 6-2. And Green keeps it alive for Carlos Delgado.
Well, if they go to Mariano Rivera, this is now a save situation when you get the tying run in the on-deck circle. If they should decide to bring him in here just for the last out of the game.
Well, and if they don't, and Delgado gets on, then you really cut down on the margin for error. You bring him in to face the tying run, and sometimes managers like to bring that closer in and give him a, a hitter or two to work with.
A little cushion.
Yeah. Strike 1 as Green is allowed to advance to second base.
And just by him advancing, it puts a little more pressure on the left side of the infield. There's no more force at second. But the way the Yankees are set up, Chuck Knobloch, I don't know if he'll be able to get the second and cover anyway. He's playing really deep for Delgado.
Up the middle. That'll find a hole, and the Blue Jays are going to come up with a couple more here, and it's 6-4. And suddenly the tying run will come to the plate in Tony Fernandez, and Mel Stottlemyre will have to bring in Mariano Rivera. So Nelson leaves. He got a big out in the 8th inning. Could not close it down here in the 9th. And he leaves with the Yankees on top 6-4. Tony Fernandez will be coming up to face Mariano Rivera as the tying run. We'll have it for you on MSG when we come back after these messages. Now Mariano Rivera is in a save situation. The lead is down to 2. And he'll face Tony Fernandez. We'll remind you that we're back with you on Sunday right here on MSG. It's Joe DiMaggio Day in the Bronx. Coverage starts at 1. The Yankees and the Jays will take the field at 2:15. Then on Tuesday, Roger Clemens will go for his 18th straight win. Yankees invade Texas, open up a 3-game set with the Rangers. That's an 8:30 start. Plenty of pinstripe action coming up. Check your local listings. These are not the type of numbers you expect from Mariano Rivera. More than a hit per inning, and he's already walked 3 in 5 innings. So he has not been as sharp as he was in 1998 early in the season. And he faces a tough hitter in Tony Fernandez.
Tough and hot. 404.
Martinez will play behind Delgado with the 2-run lead. Fouled out of play, strike 1.
It's the 3rd time that Tony Fernandez has been with the Blue Jays. Got away a couple times, re-signed as a free agent.
For years, their regular shortstop, and doing a great job this year at third base. High 1-1. Well, with all the attention on David Wells, what has kind of been lost in tonight's game is the brilliant 7 1/3 innings by Orlando El Duque Hernandez. 9 strikeouts. Little blooper out into left field. That'll drop in for a base hit. Delgado will make the turn and head for third.
The man they got to worry about is at first base. Fernandez, get the ball back in, keep him at first. 3-hit night for Tony Fernandez.
And just like that, when it looked like the Yankees were a pitch or 2 from ending it.
Well, the bat is gone, but it died a hero. Little blooper in the left field for the base hit. We'll put runners at the corners.
Now things get a little more interesting as Willie Green steps in.
Well, the Blue Jays rallied last night against Anaheim, down 5 runs. They came back and won 8-7.
Ball 1.
And that's twice during their 8-game streak that they have come back from a 5-run or more deficit to win.
That's one of those feelings that teams get as you see the Blue Jay base runners. You start winning a couple games like that, you get to the 8th inning, instead of saying, well, things don't look too good, you have a good feeling about coming back. Toward Jeter. This should do it. Flip the Knobloch in time. And Mariano Rivera closes it out for Orlando Hernandez as the Yankees win it 6-4. 36,000 plus came here to see David Wells, and he gave him 6+ innings of solid pitching, but he will take the loss. A rare loss for David Wells at Yankee Stadium. That breaks the Blue Jays' 8-game winning streak. It runs the Yankees record to 10-5. Their 3rd in a row, as Don Zimmer and Mel Stottlemyre react to the last out of the ball game. Lots more to talk about when we come back on MSG after this. 6-4 Yankees.